What is going on, Casually FC? Welcome to another installment of the Casually Chelsea show. I am accompanied with the brilliant panel of Ahmed, Winter Surfer, Oliver, Scott, and Real Chris. And before we get started on this jam-packed show today, you guys know what to do, but I'm here to remind you anyways. Be sure to smash the like button, as it does help out with the algorithm on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, because 69% of you are watching but aren't actually subscribed. So be sure to hit the subscribe button, so it does help us out tremendously with the algorithm. Hit the bell notifications so you are notified when we do and when we aren't going live. Be sure to check out the links in the description below for everyone's channel, everyone's content, everyone's Twitter, all that fun stuff. Discord, which is an active community that we have over there. And be sure to leave a comment down below. Let us know everything you think about the show, your opinions on some of the things that we're going to be talking about on today's topics. And if you are in the chat, be sure to, if you're a member, use up those emojis. We have plenty of emojis, starting at 99p. If you are a member, we have 4 different tiers, so check those out. It does help out the channel tremendously, more than you can believe, so yeah, do check that out. Also, super chats are available for those who would like to donate and maybe switch up the topics a little bit. But that being said, let's get right into it. We have a jam-packed show. We skipped Monday because there wasn't that much going on, so figured, hey, you know what, let it all stack up and mount up for a good, nice, brilliant Wednesday stream for you guys. So started things off, if you guys don't know, Reece James is out, but you guys probably already know that. So to start things off, we have info on Reece James. So the injury is not nearly as bad as everyone thought, but here we have Reece James will be out for just over a month, according to Nathan Jissing. Games will be missed that will be missed are including the West Ham, the Luton, Wimbledon game, Forest, and maybe Bournemouth. So he'll be out for a little bit for those games. We also have another injury update on Carney, who just got hurt in the West Ham game. And luckily for him, luckily for us, it's not that big of an injury. So Carney Chukwuemeka sustained an injury to his left knee, and he already underwent surgery. Chelsea expect Carney to be out for 6 weeks, according to Fabrizio Romano. So good news on Carney, I would say. It did look pretty drastic when he came off the pitch, wasn't able to step on his foot that he injured the knee on, wasn't able to walk, had to come out in crutches. Last time we saw a player go out in crutches, I believe, was Ben Chilwell, or was it Reece James? And they were out for a hot minute. I don't know if you guys remember.
One or two, yeah. I think it's Chilwell, though, yeah. I think it was.
Chilwell was out for the rest of the season, if I remember correctly, due to that injury. Or actually, until the last few games of the season, if I can remember correctly. But it was an MCL injury, I believe. He went and got the surgery done. He's only going to be out for 6 weeks. I'm going to say 7. So I'm going to say 2 months just to be safe, just to get himself back to match fitness. But that being said, I guess, what do you guys think about the update on Reece's injury, out for a month? And we have Carney as well, out for a month and a half, possibly 2.
With the Reece James, I just have to expect injuries now. But luckily, it's not against anyone big. Like I think Gusto as a backup is perfect. He looked good.
I mean,
against
we did get him for this purpose, right?
Yeah. We definitely needed a Gusto. We couldn't rely on Aspie another season. We'll be fair on both sides. And but yeah, having Gusto, he looked very good against West Ham. He wasn't the problem while we lost that game, and he was very good. He's got a good tackling ability by the looks of it. He's got a great tackle on him. Good defensively. Attacking, he's supposed to be decent too, but I haven't really seen too much of it. But yeah, like it's not too bad now because we got a good backup, but it does suck seeing Reece James get injured again, but I kind of have to expect it now. He is an injury-prone guy.
What about Carney?
Yeah, it kind of sucked for him as well because I didn't really like the look of him against Liverpool, but the West Ham game he looked a lot better. Scored a hell of a goal as well, but attack is a bit in shambles right now. Like he was part of our attack as well, but we have Mudryk, we have Chilwell at left wing as well. Who else? Like yeah, we have obviously Sterling. I think Sterling's got to kick on a bit more as well, and hopefully Jackson helps to attack more. But yeah, that does suck too. But it's only 6 weeks, like you said. Like it's not too long. It's not like over 2 months or 3 months or whatever. So at least it's that. Like he isn't one of the big players in the team as well. But he was starting like both games as well. He is still important to the team though. But yeah.
Sure. You know what I was thinking, guys? With Carney out, I know there's rumors about the number 10 spot with Kudus and all these other players, which we will discuss in the show, obviously, in more detail. But I was thinking, in the meanwhile, so Broja's back in training, and obviously, let's elaborate on this. Let's discuss some solutions here, right? With Broja on the cusp of coming back, maybe in 2 or 3 games, Carney's still going to be out by then. Do you guys think that it's possible that we see a formation coming up where we have Jackson as a 10 and Broja as a striker?
I would answer again, but if you want me to like continue, I think we should play. I think we should play a 4-3-3. Obviously, 3 midfielders because like we've got Lavia and Caicedo and Enzo, but I don't know how quickly we can like put that in. Maybe Caicedo plays against Luton. It's gonna be one of those games. It's a bit easier. Their relegation side as well early on, and I think Gallagher will play still in midfield. I think Lavia needs a little bit more time, maybe Caicedo. But we definitely, I think the front three would definitely play Jackson, Sterling, and maybe Chilwell left winger or something. I don't know, or Mudryk as well. Maybe Mudryk gets his chance in, or the striker Broja you get. Maybe we can play Jackson on the left and Broja in the middle, because Jackson looks like he can play on the left or something. He's good on the ball and everything. He's got pace and all that. But I'm not sure what anyone else thinks.
I'm not too hot on the idea personally. I mean, like Jackson, maybe he could play the 10. I mean, I don't know. I'm not seeing him on the training pitch, and I've never seen him really consistently play in those areas in a given match. My bigger problem is playing Broja as a starting striker. Like I've already seen enough from him from the minutes we had last season, where he looked very, very raw, and that was before his injury, and that was before his recovery. So I just can't imagine it being any better right now. And even, you know, like I said, when he was playing at full fitness, he still wasn't like good enough to be a starting level striker for us. So the problem isn't really Jackson; it's more Broja for me.
I personally would not be starting Armando Broja right now. He's still coming back from his ACL injury at the end.
But
of
I
the
would
day,
assume
so...
in what, 2-3 weeks, maybe
halfway
through. Okay,
probably limited. You probably could be playing him in limited minutes.
I was going to say he hasn't had any minutes at all.
Exactly,
like I'm not starting Broja. I'm bringing him off the bench in games to see how he is. I'm not starting. Also, this I don't really understand this idea, and I've seen it on Twitter a bit as well, of this idea of maybe Jackson isn't a striker. Like
what?
Yeah, I've seen this on Twitter, and I know like he did play left wing at times for Villarreal, but his best moments and his goal scoring came from playing as a striker. And it's like I keep seeing people go, I don't know if he's a natural goal scorer. My guy scored 9 goals in 8 games.
Yeah.
The reason why they keep on doing that nonsense. The reason why they keep on doing that nonsense is because just because he hasn't scored in 2 games, he's not a striker anymore. You know, it's almost like they're doing the new Kai Havertz thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
what to a certain extent.
What we doing? Like,
yes,
we currently don't have a backup striker. Our backup striker is currently injured, or is coming back to full fitness, and our third choice striker is a guy who last season was playing in the Premier League too.
Yes.
We have Lukaku still, but
oh no, I was about to jump in, Chris. I was about to say before you start. No, not him. I was about to say.
I'm honestly just saying, if we don't sell him, like we may as well use him.
He doesn't want to play for us. When you get this out of your head.
Okay, Andrew. I get he doesn't want to play for us, but surely he's going to want to play like football for the season.
Chris, he doesn't want to
You've
play.
averaged to the bench.
Chris, he's a
emotional damage.
Chris,
because
he's a cancer.
I know he is. I know he is. He's a dickhead.
So why would you want to play? Why would you want him to play and spread his negativity into already and have an influence on the younger players that are there? Why would you want that?
I don't understand. If you've had if you've had cancer once, why would you want the cancer again? To fight the cancer again? What's going on, bro? No, but like that's literally the only way to explain it. Like it's the same thing. Like the Lukaku thing is literally the same thing as like Felix.
Maybe Poch can talk to him. No,
forget what that lump of shit wants. Pochettino don't want him. The club don't want him.
He's not even spoken to him.
I want to sell him.
He's had him training with the under 20. He's had him training with the under 21s since he arrived at the club.
Yeah, I don't know, but like we haven't even sold him yet, have we? So like, if we sell him,
no one wants him.
I know, like well, Saudi want him now, they don't. Like Juventus want him now, they don't. Like no one wants him no more.
Yeah, because but the reality is, that's his fault, bro. That's his fault, man. He blackballed himself of the leagues. I've said this to you multiple times, Chris. He blackballed himself. That's what he's done. Literally, he's done it at Anoka.
I just know he's a
I don't
decent
good
goal
team.
scorer, but he is a cancer. I do agree, but
Oh my god, being
So
being
he's
a
a
decent goal
non-factor,
scorer
so-
does not outweighs. Go ahead, Scott.
Going back to what I said, we've got one striker, and people are wanting to move him out onto the wing, or like do some other nonsense with him because he hasn't scored in 2 games. There was
Yeah,
none of
I
this
think
talk
that's
in
absurd.
pre-season when he was scoring goals, when he was doing
Mhm.
everything he's doing now. By the way, literally nothing about his game has changed in the first 2 games. The only difference is he hasn't scored.
True. I will say, like, I mean, I never proposed changing the striker. Really, I just proposed maybe putting
Oh my God.
Jackson as a 10 instead, just so we can have a striker and a 10. But let me offer another
No wrong with
solution
chubby
here.
chasers.
Have you? what do you guys think of Enzo or Gallagher as a 10? And do you think there's faith that maybe Poch tries Maatsen in the 10 position?
Nope.
I would like to see that.
No, I would prefer not to see Gallagher, and I would prefer not to see Enzo.
No?
Gallagher's having 2 good games so far.
I'd happily see Enzo in the 10. I'd rather see Gallagher in the 10 than what was proposed previously, I'll be honest. I'd like to see Maatsen play. He won't.
Maatsen might be the one. Yeah, let's do Maatsen. I would prefer.
Maatsen won't.
All the options.
I don't understand why
Why-
Poch don't try it. Like he looked like
Yeah.
he's like using
Why
it
do you guys
pre-season.
think? Why do you guys think Maatsen's not playing?
Matt Law came out today with his usual transfer pod of like the London's Blue podcast, and he was like, apparently set to go out on loan.
Is that tweeted, by the way, so I can pull it up for the
No, it's
score?
in the YouTube video. They have the YouTube
okay,
video
okay,
that they
okay.
do that stuff.
Maybe someone
Gotcha.
quoted it. That's about it, though. I don't know.
No, because I was.
Wait,
Yeah.
did you say he
I was
went
watching.
on loan
Yeah, that's
That's
the
what
plan.
Law is
He said-
saying.
with a year left on his
Yeah.
contract?
Well, again,
So we have an
I'm
option,
assuming they're trying to. So there's it's a 1+1 that they've got right now. But as you know, Scott, they're trying to like get him to sign
Oh, you froze up,
the new
Ahmed.
contract. They're trying to do this what they couldn't do with Lewis Hall, where they signed him to an actual contract of 6+1, and then let's send him out on loan to a favourable club. Probably will be Burnley, knowing what's going on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'd rather just use Maatsen, because here's the thing that kind of bothers me, but I get it at the same time. It's like, Poch, you've been trying out all these players in the preseason. I know, like, we tried out Santos, we tried out Maatsen, we tried out Cassidy, Moreira, so on and so forth. And they looked promising. And even the formation we were trying out was a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 at times. And then all of a sudden, come the preseason, it's like he was using the preseason to really try things, but he originally always intended to go with this lineup with these players and maybe go with this formation. I don't know. We'll really see 3rd time in a row what he does. But it is kind of disappointing that we haven't seen Maatsen yet, who looked pretty electric in the preseason.
I can offer a reason why we've been playing this formation, yeah, because I've been thinking
Talk
about
to
it.
me.
So I think there's 2 reasons why I've been playing it primarily. The first reason is for Thiago Silva to play. I think one of the reasons why we saw obviously in preseason that Thiago Silva can't really necessarily work in a back 4. So
I don't know about that. That's what you think.
It's a back
I disagree
formation.
with that.
No.
It's a back
No.
formation anyway.
It's not. It's a back formation.
Let Ahmed land, but I disagree with you.
When we're in possession, we're back 4. But when we're out of position, we're not. But essentially, he wants to cater towards Thiago Silva playing to allow him to show Shepherd, Colwell, and Disasi, because they're still kind of like rough. Even though like Colwell played a few games in the Premier League last season, he's still a relatively young player. So he's trying to give these guys a relative amount of experience before he actually removes Thiago Silva to the actual bench and like phases him out. The other reason I think is actually Chilwell. Like I think he probably doesn't see Modric is ready yet, so he's been playing Chilwell in that left wing position because he actually likes Chilwell in going forward. And I've said this before, Chilwell going forward is actually that's one of his strengths. But obviously defensively, he's not been great at all. So that I think that's probably like to protect him a bit more. That's why you've got Cole almost acting like as this left back LCB situation that's been going on too. But those are just my 2 reasons.
I think that's a pretty strong theory. I mean, I don't know. I have my own thoughts that I just expressed earlier. But I mean, we can always go into more detail as we go on later in the show. Moving on to the next topic, let's talk about some info and updates on this whole sponsorship situation, how I feel about it as well. It's been very iffy. But let's go ahead and discuss the details here that I found in some tweets. So, for the Infinite Athlete topic, a potential £40 million a year deal between Chelsea and Infinite Athlete appears to be in limbo, with the Premier League doing their due diligence on a proposal under their fair market value rules. There remain doubts whether the deal will be given the green light. This is coming from the Mail. This was earlier in the week. Then we have another tweet here from Matt Law. So, Chelsea remains hopeful that the shirt sponsor deal will go ahead with Infinite Athlete. It is believed Infinite Athlete has told the Premier League that they have already raised hundreds of millions in investment, and that revenue generated across their investors and backers also runs into hundreds of millions. Moving forward, other than simply ruling on the value of the deal, the Premier League have requested information over the funding behind Infinite Athlete, which is a private company, and investment links that may involve Chelsea's co-controlling owners, Todd Boehly and Baghdad Bali. I don't know what shriek that was that came out of your mouth, Ahmed, but I hope you're okay.
I'm not okay. I'm going to let you know. I'm not okay.
Is it related to this, or is it something later? Okay. I'll get to that. So relating to this, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I think this is one of the things that
Wallahi, I'm gonna fight someone.
This is one of those things where I feel like our American owners might be trying to get away with one too many loopholes. I have this hunch in me that this might be one of those things that we're trying to sponsor ourselves. And I don't know how you guys feel about that.
We cannot sponsor something that we do not own. None of our guys.
Well, don't we have? Someone might know better than me, right? Like, don't we have links with Infinite Athlete? Wasn't there like a co-ownership kind of thing?
So Infinite Athlete was created by the guys that do the para something guys. Like how we have those starting lineup stuff. The Parry match guys. So that's the company. They combined with another company to be called Infinite Athletic.
Oh my god.
You get me? So that's what's happened, right? Infinite Athletic. So then that's why like there's a connection. But oh my god.
Yeah, I just saw it. We'll go over it.
Told you.
We're at the stage with this whole sponsorship thing. For me,
I hate you, Chris, bro. I'm gonna fight you, Chris, one day. I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna come down to Wales.
You guys stick around, guys. You'll see what the fuck we're talking about. But go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, this whole thing about the like sponsorship. Part of me is just at the stage where I'm just like, how has this happened for a third time?
Wait, third time?
Like, well, the sponsorship, us not getting a sponsor has happened now for potentially the third time. Like,
is Paramount? Are you counting Stake in there?
Yeah, I'm talking about Stake. It's a different situation, but we obviously didn't get them as our sponsor. Like, at what point? Like, because especially the Paramount thing in this. Do you not maybe, considering you're meant to be incredible businessmen, did you not maybe think and have a little look as to what pertains to what is allowed and what isn't allowed in terms of sponsorships? Because
do you think that maybe there might be a little bit of some American discrimination? Actually, no, probably not. Oh shit, fuck! I just shared my screen.
Bro, you do realize, bro, the owner. You do realize, like the Premier League chairman is like an actual US guy, right? Like a lot of the stuff, a lot of like the actual Premier League, the company is US based. I know like a lot of people don't know that. Yeah, so it's actually.
But also, I don't think it's a US thing as well. Just because, like, I know obviously Newcastle, it was slightly different. It wasn't the sponsorship thing, but they had a lot of problems like trying to buy the club, right? And obviously that was two other things. I don't think it's a race or a country thing, like a nationality thing. I just think it's.
Yeah, not
I'll be completely honest. This one, more than the other two, this one just smacks of. If this doesn't go through, this just smacks of incompetence.
Vic, let's see if this is right. Tempos X owns Infinite Athlete via a merger with a biotech company. They haven't received help from Clear Lake to raise funds, but it doesn't mean Todd Boehly or Clear Lake are investors.
That's fair. If that's the case, and then hopefully this should be fine. But if it does turn out that it's more, if more comes out, then you do just have to look at them and go, this is meant to be your area of expertise. Especially you hired two separate guys. One turned out to be a scumbag, but the other one you've now hired. Yeah. And this is the third time that you've managed to fail to get us a sponsor that worked. Because, like, say what you want about the stake one, and I understand the uproar, and I understand also being on the other side, but not understanding the uproar. But at the end of the day, you probably should have worked out how that was going to be received. I just feel like it's until we get a sponsor, I'm looking at them kind of awkwardly. Oh, I forgot to mention the Allianz thing. The whole business of Allianz as well. Like, I just.
Do you know what it is, Scott? The thing with Allianz was apparently they were offering too little money. They were offering 20 million. Yeah,
but I know it's a money thing. It's just like, I don't know. I do kind of feel like at this point we are, or the league's already started, right? We should have already sorted a sponsor by now, and obviously some of that is out of their hands, but some of it is just like you'd have thought all this due diligence, quote unquote, that the league are having to do, the club would already have done with these sponsors. Like especially as I said, this one and the Paramount one. The Paramount one just is beggars belief. Like, it would have been sick, don't get me wrong, but
I would have loved it.
Don't let me remind you, Scott, that this is the same owners that failed to use a fax machine for the transfer of ZIYECH. So, hey, shit happens.
No one uses a fax machine these days. That's
I say not really use the fax machine anymore.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
you can e-documents and sign it.
yeah.
I just wonder who. Do we go back to free for sponsorship?
No.
The whole
No way.
the whole
There's
logo.
no way.
Well, no, the whole point
That'd
is why
be horrible.
we stopped being with them is because they pulled out
Yeah, they did.
because
Yeah.
of the whole Abramovich thing.
Yeah.
And didn't they only come back just to, like, you know, do their part of the contract, do their due diligence? They didn't really
Pretty
want
much,
to be.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It looked like, I think that bridge is long gone. Here.
I'm trying to think of a sponsor.
Tell you what, though, I just don't understand, like, and granted, there may be some wrongdoing here, like maybe our ownership haven't done the correct due diligence on some of these deals, or maybe, like you said, Marshall, they're trying to jump through more loopholes and try and sponsor themselves or whatever. I don't know. Maybe there's a link there. But then how comes Newcastle are able to be sponsored by an events company that's majority owned by PIF, and there's absolutely zero scrutiny from the Premier League? I just want to know that.
That is an interesting question.
That is an interesting question. Because, I mean, if we're going to hold the same rules for Newcastle, then I guess at that point, why weren't we able to get away with doing Paramount as a sponsorship?
We weren't, though.
Look into it. They're sponsored by a Saudi event company called Sela or Sela, whatever. I don't know. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because remember,
Is that
Scott,
their
like, we
main
weren't able to
shirt
do the
sponsor?
Paramount one.
No, the
believe
Paramount
so.
one was because of the facts. It got explained, I think, it's because Paramount is owned by a different network or like a rival network to someone who show the Premier League, I think, in America or broadcast it worldwide or something like that.
Scott, by the way, this events company is the main shirt sponsor of Newcastle United.
Interesting.
Investigators.
That is interesting. Yeah, don't worry, guys. We saw the PYS tweet. We will be going over it. Don't worry. But yeah, I guess with the Infinite Athlete thing, I really hope this does go through, and we don't have to worry about this anymore. But I agree with Scott. If this doesn't go through, then I'm looking at Chris Jurassic and I'm looking at the owners who appointed him and saying, "Hey, this is embarrassing. We're Chelsea Football Club. You can't find a sponsorship for us. We're already a month into the freaking season, and you can't find a sponsorship. That's absurd." So.
You know,
We delayed the launch of our shirt for this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Until August 16th.
We're going to look like a Sunday League team for most of the season at this point as well. Like Sunday
No,
League.
it's just
I mean,
embarrassing from.
I like the shirt though. That's the only thing
Oh,
I'll say. I like the shirt without the sponsor. We need that money though.
It's just not good. Yeah, for the money issue, we need it. But like buying
Yeah.
the shirt like this, I love it. Like that's the reason I
Oh, yeah,
rushed
the
out for the
shirt's
top.
sick.
I rushed out for the top because of that reason. But yeah, we definitely need a like a 40 million a year,
We
50
definitely,
million
yeah.
a year deal. Because
It makes me
something.
wonder to an extent. Like, you know, we obviously went from, you know, Lewis Hall signing a 6+1 contract to him going on loan with an obligation to buy or whatever the hell that was. Makes me wonder a bit. You know, is this maybe to cover that at that end of where we didn't make that money because we were 1 minute we're trying to sign him, the next minute he's off to Newcastle. So maybe there's an element of that in it too.
It still makes no sense to me. Just still makes no sense. Like, just from a a monetary perspective, and just it doesn't make any sense based on what's being reported, and a lot of it's based on what's being reported, but none of it adds up.
That being said, let's go on to the next topic I wanted to bring up with you guys, which is some of the players that are rumored to be going out to raise funds for, I guess, is it FFP? I guess it is FFP, or
I'm actually good. I don't know, but apparently we were meant to be fine. That's
well, technically,
I'm confused when I say FFP.
Well, technically, because we're not under UEFA jurisdiction anymore, it would be the Premier League's profit and sustainability rules at this moment.
Okay.
I thought that's what we were fine for.
That's why I'm like kind of confused on
Maybe
this
they're
topic.
preparing for the. I think they're preparing for the UEFA one. That's what I think.
Possibly. But here I got some tweets from earlier in the week. Jacob Steinberg reporting Chelsea could raise funds by selling Conor Gallagher following the arrival of Romeo Lavia. Then we have another tweet here. Trevor Chalobah is expected to be out for a few more weeks with a hamstring problem. Chalobah's injury is not serious, and he is expected to be in full fitness before the end of the transfer window. That being said,
in the same tweet, but carry on.
Trevor Chalobah has been told that bids will be accepted for him. The player is in no rush to leave Chelsea and wants to fight for his spot, according to Matt Law. Scott, how does it contradict itself?
Hang on, let me check some. Where's my calendar?
Because I know some players can still pass a medical even with some injuries. Unless you refer to something else.
No, it's not even that. If you go back to the tweet, it says that he's expected to be out for a few more weeks. To me, a few is at least 3 or 4, just in terms of normality. The window, when that was sent, the window's open for 2 more weeks. So how the hell is he going to be out for a few more weeks, but yet fit enough back to full fitness?
I don't know. I don't know.
Unless it's just poor wording, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
say a couple of weeks then, like a week.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about these players potentially? Well, Sky, I know how you feel about Gallagher, but how do you feel about these other players being potentially used to raise funds? I know Maatsen isn't included on this, but Maatsen could be one of those players as well.
I was gonna say with like Chalobah, for me, it's not too. I don't mind Chalobah going out because like we've got like a lot of centre backs in. We literally
even with Axel Disasi's recent performance, you don't mind Chalobah?
Yeah, I know, I didn't, Marshall. You know, I don't think if you knew or not, I didn't want to buy another centre back. I was fine with Chalobah being an option, like be on a bench and be used from there, or good enough to start if he's good enough. But I didn't mind keeping Chalobah. Now we've brought another centre back in, we kind of have to sell Chalobah. Gallagher, I always said, I think most of us say, if we, 45 million, 40 million is a good deal, good pure profit as well. Pretty much, if we sell Conor Gallagher this season, we pretty much made 140 to 150 pure profit from youth players. That's pretty good actually for a club. Not any clubs will do that. Only Chelsea, I think, can do that. So, yeah, that's a good thing as well for selling, because we don't really need Gallagher when Lavia and Caicedo's fully fit and sharp, and we got other midfielders like Santos and Chukwuemeka as well coming back into it. We got options basically, and we don't need really Gallagher. Even though Gallagher's been looking very good in that DM position for Chelsea for the 2 games, but I would sell for 45 million to 40 or more if another club goes for 50 million.
What about the rest of you guys? What do you think about Chalobah and Gallagher potentially leaving to raise funds for the recent purchases?
I think Chalobah probably is going to get forced out. I think the reality of the situation is it's commendable that he's trying to fight for his place, but if the club have told him face to face that they're going to accept any offers, to him, and that we don't know if Poch even rates him or not. But the fact also you have now Disasi obviously that's come in as well. Whereas is he going to be the backup right back now to Malo Gusto essentially? Is that what he's saying essentially? But because that's the only space I can see for him literally that's there because of the fact that Reece James is injured. So for Chalobah, bro, it's a ticking time bomb for him. I think he's probably going to leave at the end of the transfer window. I'll be honest. I think with Gallagher, the thing with him is that he has somewhat of the backing of Poch, if you get what I mean. Because apparently Poch is the one that's rating him very highly. So even if the club do try kind of move him on, he still has the kind of the manager's backing, so he can at least dig in his heels and say, the manager still wants me and I still want to play for the club. Even if I don't want that, even if we don't want that, even if none of us here want that, but that's just the reality that we face with him in particular, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with not happy. Like, I understand both of them going. I do think that like the Chalobah one is a bit weird. I don't know why he isn't rated. I'll be completely honest. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. I don't feel as good as he was in the first game, and then how bad he was in the second half of the second game. And like, I don't think Disasi has been any better than what we would have seen from Chalobah, apart from potentially airily. Like, I wouldn't say that he's like, for example, right? You saw how bad Ishile came in, and he was levels better than what we had. Disasi hasn't been that. He's been very good, but I don't think he's been massively better than what we've seen from Chalobah over at his best moments.
Mm-hmm.
The Gallagher one makes sense, not just because I dislike him as a player. It's just, for me, I don't really understand what's going on with Santos. I think he deserves to be getting game time. Don't really know what's going on with Leslie. He's made the bench, isn't getting game time apart from like 5-10 minutes at the end against Liverpool. I thought he was meant to be going out on loan, because when he came in, the plan was for him to go out on loan because he hadn't played any preseason. Now he's taken Santos's place, even though Santos had a preseason and was very good. Like, was arguably our best midfielder in preseason, honestly. So yeah, I'm just confused with that. I'd like to see him getting more game time. And yeah, I just want Gallagher gone personally, just because him being in the squad means he can play. And then, as I said, Chalobah makes sense. The fun side of it, like I mentioned, I don't really understand it, because I thought we were fine. So kept coming out after the whole Lavia and Caicedo thing. We're fine. We don't need to worry about FFP. But now apparently we do. That's why we're raising funds. But if we need to raise funds for this window to make other signings, which we need to make, by the way, the whole Lewis Hall deal doesn't make sense, because we're getting the money next year, which I thought we needed it now. Again, it just doesn't make any sense. Yes, this is correct.
Do you think part of this is also due to the fact that we haven't, because I think when it comes to the funds and FFP and all that stuff, and at this point I'm losing track of what's what. Do you think part of it's also because we haven't gotten that shirt sponsorship deal done? I think that is also added on to the whole money generated, the net gain for the season.
But wasn't the shirt sponsor for Infinite Athlete like 30-40 mil?
I think it was 50.
Million, yeah.
50. That's one player sale.
Yeah. So
like,
maybe
player sales go right on the player sales go straight on the books as well. So there's no straight on.
Sponsorship doesn't.
That's literally it. No, a sponsorship I think does, but for me the sponsorship can't be that big, just from a sense of like, that's one Gallagher sale, pretty much. Nearest makes no difference. We're selling for like 45, isn't it? It makes no difference.
But I mean, I think something that you did.
I feel like we do.
Yeah.
I feel like what it probably is we maybe need funds to make other signings, which I completely understand. Then it's just a Lewis Hall thing I don't really understand. Because we obviously still need a left winger. We still need a potentially another number 9, just as a backup, depending on what happens with Broja.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're getting another goalkeeper. Things like that.
The goalkeeper situation looks like it might be already fixed, but we'll go over that.
Oh, yeah, no, so obviously we're getting a new goalkeeper, but that's what, like, we need a couple of other signings, so.
Sure.
Kind of
I did like that you touched upon what you said there, with the whole Disasi and Chalobah. I would argue that, like, I could see Chalobah making the same exact kind of mistake in that game as well. So, I mean, I think it's, 6 and one, half a dozen in the other. So it's really the same equivocation. I'm making up words now. Equivalency to me. So we'll see what happens with the whole Chalobah thing. I do feel bad. I think this kid is good and he has potential to be better. But again, I guess Poch doesn't rate him, or we're just trying to maximize the amount of profit we make with these players who are, they're free money essentially. It's all pure profit, I should say, not even free money. But let's go ahead and really quickly touch on these topics that I had here for you guys. 2 players that we haven't talked about too much. Well, one we haven't talked about too much. This one we have, and this one kind of fell through. But let's go ahead and discuss Fulham. To Cho potentially off.
Other way around, bro. Other way around.
Fulham to Cho off. Cho to Fulham. Oh, sorry. This is what I get. This is what I get for rushing. No, Fulham is coming to Cho. What are we talking about? No, you're wrong, Scott. I'll fix it in a minute. So over here we have
Cho's got that pull.
Yeah, he really does. He's got that Cho pull, the generational pull. So we have here Nazar Kinsella reporting Fulham face renewed competition for Chelsea winger Callum Hudson-Odoi after Everton and Nottingham Forest entered the race to sign the winger. Chelsea are frustrated Fulham will not pay the £8 million asking price. Okay, a little bit of a stickler there, Chelsea, but it's all right. Fulham have pulled out of contention to sign Callum Hudson-Odoi from Chelsea, according to Tom Roddy. I have seen, or maybe glanced over a few tweets that said that Fulham are trying to come back into the deal, but £8 million Fulham doesn't want to pay.
Stingy
Are we being stingy here, guys?
No, they're being stingy. Imagine not paying £8 million for a player. It's like 2023, man. Like that's literally like chump change to like teams now. Even the smaller teams like spending over 100 million now. Like we saw last season. We're not
They ain't spending. Well, to be honest, if you be honest, you know what it is, Chris. They ain't paying 20 million for the fake 1v1 demon, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, but
got one assist in the Bundesliga.
Wait, oh, it's
8
20
million.
million.
It's £8 million.
Yeah, I should say.
That's what
Yeah,
the tweet said.
I read-
Maybe they don't feel like he's worth that money. You know what I'm
He
saying?
probably isn't. Like you saw him last season in Bundesliga. He scored one goal, like in it.
We're
But
getting 20 million for him. We're getting 20 million for him.
no, we're not even getting 8 million for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, they don't think he's worth 8 million. So
I remember when. Wow, I'm sure you guys remember when Bayern
no,
Munich was
he's
linked to him.
probably asking. It's probably because he's asking for more than what he's getting with us. That's what he's probably asking.
150k. Yeah, he's on 120k, man. Like
Yeah,
that's
he's probably asking for more. He's probably asking. For
yeah,
more.
that's probably a big issue too. He's worth probably like 70k a week tops. Like that's being nice.
Whatever it is, it's not. He's not worth. Well, to them, he's not worth what he's being paid right now, and that's fine.
Yeah, William's
So-
better.
You know.
Can I just say, by the way, like I saw that earlier tweet, like how hilarious it is that Everton, a club that are devoid of goals, think that he is the solution or a part of the solution. Like that's just funny to me.
They need they've just lost a winger, so I kind of understand they might need one because they've got.
Wait, who did they lose? They lose Gray.
Yeah, Gray's gone. I think
Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah, Damari Gray. I saw that he's going to Saudi Arabia.
Fair enough then.
That's so
And
random.
I think they've only got one winger outside of him, to my knowledge, off the top of my head.
What, Iwobi, right?
Oh no, sorry, they've got two.
Steve
Yeah, I've
Sidwell.
got about Danjuma. No, they've got Danjuma and McNeil.
Danjuma's on loan.
But they were trying to get Gnotto from Leeds, but I don't know. That doesn't seem to be working out. So maybe true. But I know Forest want him now for some reason. So.
I can't lie, but it just from looking at him, he needs Fulham to come back in. If he goes to Nottingham Forest, he's going to be the fourth choice winger there. If he goes to Everton, he's not starting over Danjuma. Danjuma's like their best player. Based on what I saw from him the other night, he's clearly their best attacker, like by a mile.
I think Danjuma will play as the 9 though, because Calvert-Lewin got another injury, and Marpai, he will never be the answer to anything. So
they just bought a new number 9, and they're trying to buy another one.
oh, did they? Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah, for Sporting.
But yeah,
we'll see, man.
it
This
is
is a
just
player we definitely got to get off the books.
Yeah, it's just
And-
mad. I think he
I
will
mean,
end up going.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
he
You never
has
know, man.
to.
We can
£8
put him
million
in a
pounds.
we can put him in a package deal to Leon, man. You know what I'm saying? To get a Barcola.
Yeah, they did say that they wanted player plus cash from either us or PSG. Yeah.
I feel like
How
Leon
about-
will walk away from the table if they see Callum Hudson-Odoi's name mentioned.
I feel
They
like
got
You
Lacazette up
insult
front.
us.
No, they got Lacazette up front. Why are we insulting them?
Lacazette's scoring though. He's doing well for them over there.
Yeah, and plus they got that brother that they just bought, the wonder kid from and Choma or stuff like that. Like begins with
Ernest.
NCHU.
Joe's a wonder kid.
Yeah, Ernest something. Yeah.
I'm
So
just calling him
listen,
Ernest,
man.
so for fucking second.
Yeah, man, it's fine, man. We can just swap. We can say, listen, we give us Bradley Barcola plus 25 or 30 million. We'll give you what's it called? We'll give you Chalaba and or Cho. Choose wisely, and we're fine.
You're not choosing wisely if you're picking Cho.
Why not? I think they're choosing wisely. I think he'll do well in the French league, to be honest.
If he couldn't do well in the Bundesliga, there isn't much hope for him now.
Yeah, man. But you know what it is, man. The Bundesliga is a hard league.
Alive.
I think the Bundesliga is a hard league. You know what I'm saying, man? You know,
Not for attacker.
It's a hard league. Fucking Werner balled out in fucking
I'm literally.
He's still balling out.
man.
Guy, I don't know if you can see me. I'm winking around. I'm trying to make it just in case of Leon guys watching.
In case of Leon.
Yeah,
In case, yeah, of course. In case Leon, a sporting director, is watching our show looking for
Yeah,
advice.
man. Yeah, man.
Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Hang on, no. Aren't Leon under a transfer ban or something? They couldn't take that.
No,
I
they're
think they don't
under
have
like
money.
no. They have money. They're under what's it called? Like it's like the French board. Like they're doing some sort of FFP thing, so they have to like say yes or no to any transfer that Leon make essentially. So you get what I'm saying?
No,
Imagine a smaller team to PSG getting a transfer ban or whatever, like or FFP in trouble when you see PSG spend hundreds of millions and spend.
Yeah, because they also make a bunch of money back.
They do, but like
and also
not that much. Surely.
One of their owners is on the UEFA board,
Yes, literal corruption.
so that helps.
I guess it does
That does
help.
help.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, I guess we're gonna see what's gonna happen with Callum Hudson-Odoi. I hope he does leave. He's one of the. Listen, we cleared out a lot of players in this window, so when it comes to clear outs, I think we're doing a fantastic job. We just have two more that need to leave, and I'd say need. That's a key word. Need, not necessarily have to, but need. I know there's other players.
Cho and who? Is it Gallagher on that?
Oh
No,
my
it's-
god,
it's-
he's just trolling. He's trolling, guys. Move on.
I'm not. Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyways, moving on to the next topic. Actually, I should count this player. So 2.5. Okay. You guys remember this guy?
Oh, I remember him.
He's injured.
From the
Is he?
bench.
He's injured. Yeah, he's actually hurt. That's why we can't move him on.
No, he
Unlike
wasn't.
the 100k a week.
So Nazar Kinsella is saying this as well. I guess I didn't know about the injury, but on top of the injury, Malaang Sarr is struggling to attract offers due to his £100 million or £100,000 a week wages at Chelsea.
100 grand a week. Fucking.
Marina,
That's a
man,
lot.
what were you doing?
We should put him
That's
like
a lot.
60k, shouldn't we? Or something like that. But 100k doesn't seem
Do
too
Leon
bad.
need him?
That's what I'm
just lost
saying,
the
man.
centre-back.
We've got options, man.
Yeah,
We've got
They
options.
just
man.
lost the centre back.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. We've got options on the table for them, bro. That's what's look about to RB Leipzig. Listen, man, Dave. We've got options for you, Leon, man. You got a winger. We've got a centre back. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Choose wisely.
Yeah.
I'm
That's-
surprised people didn't know because we got him on a free. That's why we paid
Yeah,
him 100k a week.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
No,
At
I
the
mean,
time.
What the hell was Marina doing, man?
wasn't he kind of like, because he came, where did we get him from? We got him from
We
Nice?
got from Nice.
Well, yeah,
Wasn't he highly touted, like a high prospect or whatever?
He was. He wasn't.
He was
And we
rated.
saw what happened. He was rated, and
I mean,
just never-
he is still he is relatively young still. I mean, I'm not putting any stock in him, but he's still like what 23, 24. So for a centre back, you know what I mean?
He's almost in his
I mean,
peak age, though.
in this age though, this day and age, I should say, not his age. Is that still like, room for improvement? Kind of like there's still hope for him.
He has a
I don't
couple more
know.
years, Marshall, I think. And then you see what he is. And by the looks of it, it's not looking too good.
Yes.
How old is he?
23, 24 apparently.
No.
I mean, like, I feel like at 21, most players are already kicking it. He's 24 years old.
Is he injured?
Yeah.
Apparently, he's injured right now, and
Why
on top
can't
of
we-
that, he has
why can't we-
100k.
Why can't we still sell him? Because we look to buy him.
Well,
to
this-
play. So why can't we sell him? I don't understand.
Apparently, the 100, because the wage is too much for a player who people don't really rate. I guess the other teams
I
don't
swear
really
to
rate.
God, if it's the same guy who scouted Kepa, I'm going to hunt him down. I swear to God. Whoever scouted this guy.
If it's the same dude who got a Sal Neil, whatever.
Oh, God.
It probably is. It probably is the same guy. But yeah, it's one of those players I totally forgot about, and we might be stuck with him. Hopefully not. Hopefully a club does come in for him. But there is a player that we did move on. That Ahmed, you're gonna be over the moon about this. It's finally done. It's concrete. No one needs to worry about him anymore. He'll leave us alone, and it's a really weird contract as well. But he is basically essentially gone. So let's talk about Hakim Ziyech. Here we go. We didn't get to really touch on this. This did come out last week, so let's go ahead and react. Hakim Ziyech has completed his Galatasaray medical. The club have a board agreement over the transfer, but talks continue over how the deal will be structured. Work remains to be done, but there is a willingness from all parties to get it done, according to Sky Sports. Moving on to the next tweet. Official Galatasaray and Chelsea have reached an agreement over the free temporary transfer of Hakim Ziyech with a free purchase option next summer. Okay. A full agreement has been reached for Hakim Ziyech to join Galatasaray on a free transfer. Ziyech completed his final medical checks earlier today. The deal will be officially announced by the club. After their game against Trabzonspor. Trabzonspor? Trabzonspor? Did I say that right?
Yeah, forget about that.
Okay.
Wait, we gave him away for free?
No, we didn't.
I'll get into details. It's a little bit of a weird one, Chris. Galatasaray and Chelsea consider Hakim Ziyech deal agreed. All documents are ready, just waiting for signature and then deal completed. Ziyech expected to travel to Istanbul tonight, according to Fabrizio. And then official. Hakim Ziyech has completed a season-long loan to Galatasaray with an obligation to make the move permanent. So that's coming from Chelsea, and I think this is where we get the details. Hakim Ziyech moved to Galatasaray will include obligation to buy clause. It's 100% over for him at Chelsea. There could also be fees which will be subject to certain conditions being met. So if I read correctly,
it's a £3 million loan.
It's a free. It's a loan with an option to get him on a free.
No. So it's a £3 million loan that they given to the club.
Okay.
There's an obligation to buy it as well, but essentially the price of the obligation to buy will be different. Will increase if there's other stuff that are met within the year that
I thought it was an option to buy him on a free.
No, because if you read the Chelsea one says it's an obligation to buy. So.
Yeah. Yeah, this one was a bit of a weird one. He is gone.
Even here, it says literally, Hakim Ziyech moved to Galatasaray will include obligation to buy. So literally, it's an obligation to buy. So he's going to be there at that football club essentially.
I could have sworn that his contract ends next summer.
I think they must have done one. They must have extended it by 1 year in order to make this happen. It must be.
But I also recall it mentioning with the option to buy him on a free. That's what I.
No. When you read the. No, I remember that initially. That was reported initially by Nizar Kansela that was an option to buy. But then the club, like the previous, like if we go to the previous tab that you just had about Chelsea FC, say it literally says obligation to buy, and Fabrizio is now confirming that it's also an obligation to buy too. Essentially.
They will buy him for a can of Coke and a packet of crisps.
But who cares, man? At the end of the day, this guy is away from my club. We should have really let him go to PSG. If we're being honest,
I'll be honest with that.
But listen, who cares, man? He's gone. You know what? I hate him even more now because somehow he passed his medical for Galatasaray, but he couldn't pass his medical for Al Nassr and given us £8 million.
Hold on.
Who cares? He's passed it now. He's gone.
He has, but hold on. That's the other thing too that was mentioned on here. I think there was because there is a clause, right? Option to buy clause. I think in that clause is included performance, not performance, but fitness conditions. Like if he's fit and he plays a certain amount of games, then he activates the clause.
But at Chelsea, he's always been fit. Yes, he may have had one or two injuries.
I get that, but you're saying because he didn't pass his medical. I think because of the susness or the weird conditions of the medical, that might be why that clause is in there. Is what I'm trying to say.
They have an obligation to buy literally in the clause, so they have to buy him either way, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, but the obligation itself and the fee is subject to conditions, so that might be one of the conditions.
The price.
Yes.
The
price.
The price. I agree with that. Yeah. So it might be this instead of paying, whatever it is, man. But listen, he's gone, man. That's what I don't care after this, man. He's gone.
Hallelujah.
It's a loan. No fee paid to us, Gala, and they have obligation to buy him in the summer. It's a season-long loan with an obligation to buy. ZIYECH will earn a net seasonal salary of Jesus. That's not bad. This will drop to 2,800. Okay, in 20. Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's weird. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what I read, Vic. Thank you. I appreciate you. But the other thing too is like I think if he stays fit, he's gonna do just fine. He'll perform well. It's a Turkish league. I think it's a good team in Galatasaray. And on top of that, I think
You say that.
listen.
that,
When ZIYECH stayed fit, he had some good performances for Chelsea. I'm not gonna deny him that. The issue was, not staying fit and not fitting the system. So I think we got Galatasaray. I think he'll do well, man. I think he'll do just fine, and we'll be rid of him. I wish him the best. I wish him the best. I know you don't, but I wish him the best.
I know. I don't wish him anything. I hope he's gonna probably flop at Galatasaray. A lot of people don't realize, the Turkish league, bro. A lot of people fail when they go there, so he'll probably be another failure there, and then he'll probably.
What do you mean a lot of people fail when they go there?
Just let him be happy, man.
Let's have it right.
He's gonna fail there, man. That's
you're just bitter on it.
You sound like a hateful ex, man.
Yeah, you do.
That is crazy. But chill out, mate. I'm not his ex.
All
right.
His ex.
So let's get to the more juicier stories that I'm sure you guys in the chat wanted to discuss. But before we go ahead and do so, I want to remind you guys there's about 90, almost 100 of you guys in the chat. Be sure to smash up the like button because it does help us out. Let's try to get to 50 likes as soon as possible, guys. That means only 20 of you guys have to smash that like button, which isn't much. There's 90 of you in there. So let's just get the like buttons up and I'd be very happy for you guys to help us hit 50 at least. Okay, the next story. So we talked about Lewis Hall already going on a loan and all that. Now there's details about this, and some things that were reported actually weren't accurate. So now we have more information on the whole Hall business. So let's go ahead and start off with the first tweet I have here. So here we have the Telegraph reporting, breaking, Chelsea have agreed a deal to sell Lewis Hall to Newcastle United for an initial fee of around £28 million with the potential for it to go higher. I guess that's with like add-ons and clauses and all that stuff. Moving forward, the deal to sell Lewis Hall was overseen by Begdad Bali. The original plan was to build his career at Chelsea, but the club have now decided that the fee on offer was too good to turn down, which I think is understandable. Lewis Hall, according to Bobby Vincent, wanted to leave Chelsea. I'm told he was a Newcastle fan growing up, so that always has some influence. He feels he can continue his development, more first team minutes, etc. elsewhere, which I think reasonable people can understand that, and agree with it. So Fabrizio Romano reporting here, Lewis Hall to Newcastle, here we go. Loan deal with mandatory buy option clause. Medical booked later today. Total package worth £35 million in add-ons included. This is going to be our final signing, Howe announced. Hall leaves after signing a new deal at Chelsea a few days ago. Then we have here Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea will have a sell-on clause included on the Lewis Hall deal with Newcastle, which I think for £35 million with add-ons and a sell-on clause, I can understand why Chelsea didn't turn it down. I think that's a pretty sweet deal. So here we have Ben Jacobs giving us more details on the transfer. Newcastle confirmed Lewis Hall has joined from Chelsea on a season-long loan with obligation to buy based on performance-related criteria. Hall saying, and quoted, I'm very proud. Me and my family are Newcastle fans. It's a big club, and I can't wait to get started. More from Ben Jacobs down below. The obligation to buy is set at £28 million plus £7 million, and Chelsea have a healthy sell-on clause included on that as well. A deal that suited all parties. Strong fee for Chelsea, workable structure for Newcastle due to FFP, and Chelsea was keen on the move despite only days before signing a new long-term deal with Chelsea. That being said, I also will put in this discussion that I wanted to have with you guys here as well. This tweet right here. There has been an air of disappointment at Chelsea at Hall's departure from Chelsea, both from supporters and some inside the club. Concerns have been expressed that this is a return to Chelsea's academy's old model. where talented prospects are sold to fund expensive imports.
Yep.
So that being said, what do we think about this tweet returning to the old model, and what do we think about the details of Hall's contract?
The old
5
model-
Premier League titles in the UCL. What a bad model.
No, you know what, man? It'll just be back to life, back to reality, man. That's what we used to do beforehand. They'll just do it again. Like, why are people surprised by this? Listen, I told you before, man. 2019, 2020, the Lampard season got people thinking, oh, we're gonna go back to bringing these youth up through the club. This has not been. It's been an illusion. Literally, the season after transfer ban, you went out and brought a bunch of players straight away and sold Tomori. I think we sold Gerhe in that window too. Like, we've done this how many times beforehand? Like, why are we doing this, man?
Ahmed, even during the transfer ban season, we dropped Abraham for Giroud. We dropped Tomori for Rudiger and Christensen, whoever. It was never to be. It is an illusion, like you say, even during that season.
Yes, man. This is not. Listen, man, guys, man. I don't know what Chelsea these men are wishing for, but that's not the Chelsea. That is the reality, man. You know what I mean?
The only academy player to find consistency in minutes was Mount. Only one.
Oh, Reece James.
Well, that was a bit later. Mount literally played like almost every game in that 2019 season.
I didn't like how fucking Lewis Hall he shot on that club, man. So it's a dream come true and everything. Going to Newcastle, okay, I get it. We came 12th last season, but we're not.
Didn't Eden Hazard essentially say the same thing when he went to Real Madrid?
No, but it's Newcastle. like Real Madrid is the biggest club in the world.
Wait, hold on. Newcastle has some history, don't they?
No, they do. I'm not saying they don't have history. I'm just saying Chelsea have done so well the last 20 years. Like, winning every trophy is like as a dream come true. Like, go to Newcastle. I'm not saying Newcastle's a small club, but like they're not big in Chelsea like that.
And Newcastle is a small club, bro. It's a small club.
They're
a small club.
It's got a big stadium. That's what it is. One club town. That's what it is.
And a movie.
And they've had obviously players go there.
Bloody Sunderland have won more. Sunderland have won more than them.
There you go. Then.
Have won more than them recently.
They also won more than them.
They're just. And I'm not. This isn't to rag on them, but and I don't even think most Newcastle fans really call themselves a big club. It's just a lazy analysis because, they have a big stadium. That's all it is. And they've had that for years. Maybe they will become a big club when they start winning stuff, and that's great. But to call them a big club now would be actually incorrect.
I think you could just call them a historical club. That's pretty much
it. Stop calling Spurs a big club. It's just not true.
On this whole thing, though, I find the reaction hilarious. Like, You look at the Caicedo transfer, and everyone's going mad about the fact that, or going mad in a good way, like a positive way, about he wore the Chelsea shirt in 2020 and took that picture with his mother. But yet, when Hall does Newcastle proper, and he's like, I like Newcastle. It's screw Chelsea. But I don't get that. There's the maths ain't mathing.
No, my point was like we're a bigger club in Newcastle. It's like a dream come true. It's like how was that happen, man? Because we finished 12th. Like, it wasn't like, I don't really care too much what he says about the club because it's good profit from him. We only played him a handful of times, so it's definitely a good stay. I don't know why people I've seen online cry about him leaving. Nah, man, I'm sick of the academy area as well. Like, that academy area is our worst ever era. Like, people just let that sink in a little bit.
How is he even going to play though? Because they have Dan Burn at left back, and their midfield is pretty stacked as it is. Where does he get minutes?
Wait, no, I can see maybe Tonali, obviously, Bruno Guimaraes, and maybe Lewis Hall on as an 8.
Lewis Hall over Joe Linton?
Okay, competition, I will say. Like, it'll bring good competition.
I mean, if players get hurt, Oliver,
He's definitely very good competition, I think, for the midfield. And
it's good depth,
I know what they talked about. I did listen to it, obviously. Like, they talked about him being versatile. Like, he can play left back, he can play centre mid. Like, that's a good thing for them, they said. So that's what they use him for, left back and centre mid.
Yeah, I get that, but you're talking about a team here that are in the UCL. They're trying to push even higher, maybe to even break into the top 3.
They need depth, don't they, as well, for Champions League football. So,
true.
Lewis Hall can fill in.
I was going to say 2 things, and, I do want to discuss this. I feel like maybe Scott disagrees with me on this. 2 things. The first thing is that I kind of really hate that the Chelsea fan base, when it comes to Lewis Hall, we're essentially trying to start on a whole nother like stan culture. Like we just got rid of the whole Mason Mount and Kai Havertz stan culture. We were done with it. It was causing such a divide in the fan base, and now we're trying to do it again with Lewis Hall. And listen, if it does happen, if we do end up selling Maatsen, I guarantee you there's going to be the same reaction. Which, I mean, I'm gonna be upset about it as well. Obviously, if that were to happen, we'll see what happens. But you know, you don't see this reaction with Chalobah. You don't see this reaction with who else are we linking with? I mean, Gallagher, I guess you can say, but Chalobah is probably the big prominent one. And I know you guys discussed in Lewis stream, probably race has something to do with it. You know, I'm not gonna make this whole race thing. It could be possible, right? But the other thing too that I wanted to mention, and this is where I think Scott might disagree with me, and Scott, I'd like to get your opinion on this. I think the fan base have this idea that Lewis Hall is good. And I'm not saying he doesn't have the potential to be good. I think he can potentially be a good player. But when I've seen him perform for Chelsea, it was in a time where we weren't really like, we're not the Chelsea we are now. Like the Chelsea we are now, I would agree. I would think that is the better quality than what we had in the past 2 seasons. Like even last season, I think what we saw of Hall was, if you had to put a point system on it, a score on it, was maybe a 6 out of 10 performance. And it stood out to us because the rest of the team was absolute dog shit. They were performing completely terribly, and Lewis Hall was the only, you know, shiny beacon in that shitty team. And even that beacon was very dimly lit. It wasn't like a bright star. Kind of how like Mason Mount stood out for all of us when the whole team was shit under Frank Lampard. So I kind of feel like there's a little bit of that bias being placed on Hall to make him think that he's better than he is. But I don't know, Scott, maybe you disagree with me on that.
I do, just because I think last season he was comfortably our best left back. And the thing I will say is, you can say yes, everyone was shit, but especially in the left back position, neither of the guys there have improved from last season. Like I wouldn't say Kukureya's performances have improved over what we saw in pre-season. Much as I like Kukureya, I think he can get better. It didn't improve. Chilwell has not improved since last season. The performances are the exact same, if not worse. And now it's highlighted because he looks shit when everyone else looks better in this system. So you can say that he was the best of a bad bunch, but the difference between that and with Mount is when everyone else improved, like that area still hasn't. And I still think even now he would be our best left back of those that actually play left back before people say Maatsen. Because Maatsen's not a left back. Like as much as we may want him to play there, he's not a left back, not in the eyes of Poch. And yeah, I understand. I said this before. I understand the criticism and the annoyance of the transfer. The money involved is very good. My annoyance of it, because I got over him being sold. My annoyance just comes back to why are we not getting it till next year? Like for the whole point of this year.
You know what you mean until next year?
I think the reason why
it's a loan with an obligation to buy, so we're not getting the money till next summer.
Yeah, the reason why is because I think it's for UEFA. It's because of the UEFA reasons. I don't think they don't necessarily need the money now. They need it next season if we get back into Europe, which is what they're planning or assuming that the club will be able to do. That's just my theory, though. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think what Ben Jacobs has stated there in the previous tweet I had up was that this was more friendly towards the PIF and their structure, the payment structure with FFP and all that. So this was more in agreement for that. That's probably why. Makes sense. On him just wanted to go back, if that's true, like that's fair, considering his family are Newcastle fans. Like, excuse me, his dad grew up a Newcastle fan. I saw like it makes sense. It's just from a performance perspective, like I don't think it makes sense personally. Like, and I get this idea of like wanting to go back to what it was in terms of going back to what it was in terms of when we won trophies, and obviously I want to go back there. But this idea that you have to be so polarizing with it, I find uncomfortable. I don't see why there can't be a happy medium. Man City is showing that there can be a happy medium with the guys they're bringing through, like Palmer, like what's his face, Foden, like McCarthy this season as well, who they apparently rate quite highly.
Rico Lewis. I think there's a happy middle ground that can be had, where you can have mostly guys you bring in that are of a high quality, Caicedo, Enzo, Jackson, from what we've seen, etc. Right, but I think you can also include those with some of the young guys if they show they're good enough to be involved, like Colwell, like I think Chalobah has done enough. Obviously, he's getting sold. Like, trying to think who else. I would have said Matson, but it seems as he's not involved. And I thought Lewis Hall was one of those guys. Again, let me just repeat myself because I don't think you understood. Ian Matson is not a left back. In this system under Poch, he's not a left back. Because if he was, he'd play there. He's played exactly 0 minutes as left back for Chelsea Football Club this season.
Mm-hmm.
So, third choice left back.
Yeah, I just, even if he did stay, and as much as like, you know, it is up for debate, like maybe I'm not going to disagree or agree that maybe he's better than Cho on that left back position, and even though that's not his natural position, there's no way he was going to fit into the center mid position here at Chelsea.
No,
and maybe, yeah, maybe he did want to play a center mid and didn't like. You know, when you're young, like we've seen it with Loftus-Cheek, we've seen it with Gallagher, even with Mount to a certain extent. When you just want to play, when you just want to get into the first team, you're likely to say yes to any position as long as you get minutes. Especially when you're that young. Like he made his debut for Chelsea at 17, I believe. He's only 18 now. So like when you're that young, like yeah, you're gonna say yes to playing anything as long as you get a chance to play. And when we were doing the Tuchel formation, left wing is essentially left mid. So like, or left wing back, I should say. I'm sorry. Sorry. I meant left wing back. Sorry. Is essentially the left mid position. So it was close to what he would have wanted to play. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens in his future. Like there is those performance clauses that if he does hit them, then it becomes like a mandatory buy and all that. So we'll see what happens with Hall. Like I do wish him the best regardless.
I just sorry to interrupt. Fabrice, you updated the Lukaku.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I
Plus
see
my
that.
man Darko. My man Darko's in it. He says he's not coming back. So.
What did he say?
We'll get there. But unless you guys have anything else to say on the whole Hall situation, I think we're ready to go on to the next topic.
Yeah, can I want to say this.
Go ahead.
I think it's already been said, but I think the overreaction just because Chilwell and Kukure didn't play well last year is just a bit too much. You know what I mean? He had a few decent games, but you know, I hope he does well. But for me, the overreaction is just ridiculous. Like we were losing like prime Ashley Cole or something. In that, I just, I don't know, man. I don't know if he even wants to be a left back. Do you know what I mean? So for me,
I think that's probably the biggest thing that we don't know. Is it may be an Oxlade-Chamberlain situation again, where as much as he did well at left back, he may want to play as a centre mid going forward, and he's not going to get that chance at Chelsea. He's not. He's
at least sixth choice.
Yeah, probably even lower.
I remember Crystal Palace alone, they were about to send them. Crystal Palace alone, they were about to send them in was literally to be a left back competition for Mitchell as well. So maybe that's why I also
yeah, and I think as well, like with the whole, I agree with Andrew. Like the overreaction is wild. I kind of understand a reaction to it, a negative reaction, just that the extent it went to was wild. And I'll be completely honest. I think the reason to an extent for the reaction is because I think most people realise that come next summer, left back probably will be the position we need most of all. We need to focus on.
Right. Alphonso Davies is coming in. I predict it right now. Alphonso Davies.
I'll say maybe Davis, maybe Hernandez. Maybe we decide to be stupid and go in for a stupid
Oh, dude, if we get there, Hernandez.
Yeah. I would say maybe we decide to go back to that.
So happy.
Maybe we decide to go back to the Brighton well again, and we decide to do that like absolute psychopaths. Excuse me. But yeah, like, or maybe they go and get someone. Maybe they do in Barco, or maybe they do what like City or Brighton are doing. They go and get like someone like that Barco kid from Argentina, or they go and find someone else. But I think left back is something we're going to address next summer because like as much as I rate him, Cucurella just doesn't seem to be the first choice, and he probably will leave. And Chilwell is not good enough at all in any way, shape, or form to be a left back.
Do you know the ironic thing?
Anything
We're not
outside of bang average.
What the hell?
You know the ironic thing, right? I think Cucurella could do a better job at left wing than Chilwell could.
He used to play as a left winger.
I know he's pacier, and he's stronger as well. He's more physical. If they were going
He
to
used
do
to play for
that,
Getafe, right?
yeah,
He used to be a
yeah.
winger for Getafe or someone, I think.
yeah,
He was
If they were
Getafe.
I think at La Masia as well, he was training
Yeah,
as a
if they were
winger.
going to do that, Cucurella was the better option. They were going to do that. That's probably Mattson.
Well, either Poch must not rate him, or it's vice captaincy tax.
It can't be
Yeah,
vice
but-
captain, actually,
Like I said earlier, Poch is. I'm starting to question Poch, some of his decisions in terms of some of the players, because like I can't. There's no way on God's green earth. There's literally not a soul in hell or heaven or on planet Earth that can tell me that they watched preseason and somehow came out that Gallagher ended up being better than Santos. And you can't watch preseason and tell me that Maatsen has no place in this team. Like we didn't go through the whole preseason, watch our games, watch how well they played, and we've come out saying that Santos is our 6th choice midfielder now somehow.
Exactly, man.
And what's his name? That Maatsen can't play, like just can't really.
What's
has no-
happened? Yeah, what is happened to like Santos, bro? Because
So
like, I was
his
honestly,
eye for a couple of players is not the best from what I'm seeing.
You know, I was going to ask you guys this. If you remember last season, Potter did something with Cucurella where he kind of kept him out of the limelight for a bit until he was like ready. And then when he made his debut back into the team, he had a man of the match performance against Dortmund in the Champions League. Do you guys think that Poch is not something similar, but like the tactic is kind of like, okay, let me kind of see what's going to happen with this team. Let me try this team out that I have right now with this formation. Let me try Chilwell in the left wing and all this stuff. Let's try these senior players. And then when the time is right, I'm going to try to introduce the youth, the Matsons, the Santos and such. Do you guys think maybe it's that kind of approach? I agree with Scott. I am like questioning some of the decisions.
Yeah, he's made it clear in interviews that he's trying to win every single game. That's what he's made it clear as. So unless if he believed in these guys, we would have been seeing them a lot more often than we think, in my opinion.
Also, with some of these guys like Santos, like potentially Leslie, like Maatsen, we're a week away from the window closing. If these guys aren't going to be involved, they need to be loaned or like they need to be loaned. I don't want any of them sold because I think they're all too good to be sold.
Yeah,
they'll have a place. But
for the longest
like,
time, like how come we've not sorted out with Strasbourg for this long, and he's somehow still on the bench? Like, what's up with that? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
And then you've also obviously Santos. Yeah, we know Santos has got a number of offers on loan from the Premier League and other leagues, and apparently the club has said declined for them. But yeah, he's not starting. And then who's the other person that's left that we're speaking of? Maatsen. We're now hearing he could go out on loan. So you essentially, man, all these guys they've been playing in preseason were all for nothing, essentially.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like it does. It does feel a little bit to me that not it was a complete waste, obviously, because it wasn't. But like it does feel like a little bit of like what was the point with some of these players? Just like Leslie's come in and
maybe it was just to see.
I've seen nothing of Leslie. I saw 5 minutes where he looked okay, but apparently must have impressed Poch because he's had no preseason, no nothing has come into the team. So
He was actually playing West Ham, unironically. He was in the West Ham preseason game because I was watching them rants. He actually played in that game, and then he got then I think then he went out for the medical for the club, unironically, which was kind of hilarious.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we'll see. I think there is a plan. He must have a plan, and we're just gonna have to be patient and see what happens. Come January, I would like to see where the team is at versus where we started. But let's go on to the next topic. And before we do, guys, I must remind you, almost 100 of you guys watching, please smash up the like button. Let's try to get to 50 likes, please. I would really, really appreciate that. But on to the next topic that I wanted to talk about, which leads us to a whole heap of other topics relating to the attacking positions at Chelsea. Olise fell through. Let's elaborate as to why that happened. So this happened last week. Olise just is trapped at Crystal Palace essentially. So Chelsea have been being busy, and it's true that Crystal Palace are not entirely happy with how the Blues have approached the Michael Olise deal. But it's also worth reiterating that Chelsea feels they did everything correctly, behaved fine, and did nothing wrong. There's something to clarify between clubs on the mechanism of the release clause, so it's not here we go yet, but Chelsea are confident. This is coming from Fabrizio. Earlier in the week. Then we have here Crystal Palace. We're going to show evidence of Chelsea tapping up Michael Olise, coming from the Secret Scout. Then we have here Fabrizio Romano. Crystal Palace informed club's lawyers of their intention to consider going to a tribunal with Chelsea over approach of Michael Olise. That's how the story changed. Palace very strong on that, and Chelsea left conversations. Olise accepts new deal. Crystal Palace FC very happy with that. And here we have it. It's Olise who decided to sign new deal with us, and I must congratulate Steve Parrish and Dougie Friedman on a fantastic job. Roy Hodgson confirms agreement on new 4-year deal with Michael Olise as Crystal Palace. Chelsea deal officially collapsed. I don't know what the hell happened in this one. I would like to definitely get more details. I think rumor has it that, and this would be a weird clause if it is if this is the reason, but apparently the release clause is only activated if the player activates it, which was the issue that Crystal Palace have with it. That could be wrong. That's what I heard.
No.
You're like, what I heard is a similar way. It's like for the release clause to be activated, the player has to go to the club to inform them that there is a club interested in activating the release clause, which if that happens, that's tapping up a player, which is illegal, and they can then sue them for it, which don't quite know how it works.
So essentially, the release clause thing basically, kind of, because Chelsea initially asked Crystal Palace first about the release clause. They weren't giving them a firm answer and stuff. So they then obviously went to the player, and then the player obviously gave them the information, right? And then once they activated the release clause, Crystal Palace basically came back to them oh, you've been tapping up the player. How can you essentially be doing that? We're meant to be asking us on how on everything and as such. And then that's what happened, didn't it?
But you just said it yourself, really, we tried going to Crystal Palace, but they wouldn't give us the information, I guess, properly. So I guess we had to do it that way, even though it's wrong, I guess. Then
if we go to the tribunal, I don't see the tribunal siding with Crystal Palace on this. I feel like it would be so absurd.
I have no idea.
How are we supposed to approach the player?
I'll be honest.
Throwing random money. Sorry.
I'll be honest. I reckon the reason we didn't let it go to tribunal is just because, obviously we haven't cheated. Everyone's throwing around this stuff oh, we cheated. You got clubs trying to report us and all that. And sure, we haven't done, but there's kind of a PR thing building up against us. So, the last thing you need is to have a club actually try and take action against you and label that serious accusation against you. You'd rather just kill it dead, not get the player now. Maybe come in for him later, because that's not ruled out. Something similar happened, I believe, when Liverpool went to Southampton for Van Dijk, and they ended up getting him 6 months later. So, it doesn't rule out the thing happening altogether. It might just happen at a later date. But then obviously now there's a 70 million release clause, so it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah, which is absurd. I think the player is good, and maybe he is worth 70 million, but I think it's absurd now that Crystal Palace did this to avoid not getting as much money as they would like to from Olise. But another thing too that I would like to mention is I think this is probably why that Lewis Hall loan to Crystal Palace fell through. It probably has to do with the negotiations.
I think that was reported that we weren't happy with the whole business with this. At the end of the day, I'll be honest. I don't think there was much in this from a legal perspective. And if he wants to stay and sign a new contract, then it is what it is. We could just go for someone else. It shows he hasn't really got that much ambition, in my opinion.
You should look at Zaha.
So yeah, we're just going to get someone else. It's fine. It's not the end of the world.
I really don't get what it is with these players. When a move falls through, they then sign a contract, and it just binds them further into that club, which they were initially looking to leave. I mean, we saw it with Caicedo back in February. Why did he have to sign that new contract? I'm looking at this, I'm thinking exactly the same thing.
He wanted a bigger, higher wage, I think. He's like
unless it's a pay rise, then yeah, fair enough. But Caicedo
Caicedo had a massive pay rise.
Yeah, but then he left 6 months later for any, like.
I'd say
it could have been so much more less complicated with Caicedo. So I don't know about this. Maybe if it's comparable.
He also nearly didn't leave. It took an entire transfer window.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what I meant. It just further locks you into that club. Like it's even harder for a buyer to come and get you in that instance.
Yeah, it's annoying because I really did want Olise. Like it's just a damn shame because now our options are dwindled now, and especially with 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. How many days we got left to the transfer
10?
window? A week, not even a week, and so 9 days essentially. There's 9 days left to the transfer window.
7 days left now.
I thought the window closes the 1st.
No, 31st.
Okay, so 8 days, not counting today, 7 days. So, yeah, so we got
Tic tac, tic tac.
We gotta get moving.
Tic tac.
So with the whole Olise thing collapsing, it's unfortunate. I think he is a very good player, but this leads me on to the next topic, which is our options. Our options. So let's start off with this tweet right here that I have for you guys, and then we'll move on to the options. So Nottingham Forest forward Brennan Johnson, Ajax attacking midfield Mohamed Kudus, and Leon winger Bradley Barcola are also being considered by Chelsea. This came out shortly after the whole Olise thing. Actually, no, it didn't. But I believe something like this did come out shortly after the Olise deal fell through. So let's move on to first player that I wanted to discuss, which is the Kudus stuff. And we have some news on Kudus that came out today. So let's go ahead and discuss. Chelsea decided to go for someone different than Kudus at the moment. This was reported 3 days ago from Fabrizio Romano. We move forward. Ryan Cherky and Mohamed Kudus remain at Chelsea's radar going into the final 10 days of the window, but other options are also being considered. This is coming from Bobby Vincent. Then we have here Fabrizio Romano reporting talks between West Ham and Ajax for Mohamed Kudus continue as called last week. Moving forward, Fraser Fletcher saying here, watch Kudus. Chelsea have had Kudus on the radar and understand conditions. It is a possibility at this stage, as previously reported. Brennan Johnson talks ongoing as reported elsewhere, and Barcola liked by club also. Then we have here West Ham's second bid for Kudus was also higher than Brighton's bid sent at the beginning of the month and agreed with Ajax. Position change now. It's not enough to sell Kudus. So yeah, apparently the second bid was rejected. Yeah. Ajax have rejected the proposal out of hand. No intention to accept at those conditions. So then, more news here. Ajax feel some very big club could return in the very final few days of the window to sign Mohamed Kudus. There's a possibility people were saying that this is Chelsea coming in, the big club. And then today we have an Orange Scene dagger, or potentially an Orange Sea half dagger. Who knows? Exclusive. West Ham on verge of agreement with Ajax to sign Mohamed Kudus. Official West Ham United FC bid for 23-year-old Ajax attacking midfield expected to be accepted. 41.5 million euros and 3 million euros add-on plus 10% sell-on. Personal terms in place on 5-year deal, option for a 6. So it looks like Ajax and West Ham have accepted have come to an agreement. Now it's probably up to the player to accept the move, and we have a here we go, if I'm not mistaken. So how do we feel about, I guess, this opportunity to sign Kudus, us letting it kind of slip through our fingers?
So when it comes to Mohamed Kudus, I think I've said this before, he can play on the right, can play as the cam, very good going forward in terms of attack and everything. The reality is, if the club were going after him, it would have happened a lot sooner. But the fact the club, the fact that yesterday or even the day before, we've not heard anything about Chelsea coming in for him, and now the West Ham stuff is already agreed personal terms. The bid's all but essentially done right now. It seems that for me, he's not coming to Chelsea. So it is what it is. I think the club are maybe looking for a more creative sort of player rather than Kudus, who's a lot more of a finisher, in my opinion.
What do you guys think about that?
I think we basically fucked it. I thought we should have gone for him as well. Like, he's a good 10 to have. He could play on the right wing. Can he play on the left wing? Because that would be useful too. But no, just a 10 position would be good anyway. Because we was looking at maybe playing a 4-2-3-1 formation anyway. So I felt like 41 plus 3 million euros is actually pretty good, since we're just throwing 20 or even maybe 30 on like youth. Well, 20 tops normally on youth players. So like we could have got this guy if we wanted to, but I don't think we've actually looked at him now. So it kind of sucks, because we do need another attacker, and obviously Nkuku's injured and all that, and Mudrik's not looking that good right now. So we definitely need more attackers. Sucks to me.
I am a little upset too, because like of the other link. Well, I mean, we'll discuss the other links too, but I did want to do another 10. I mean, now especially that Carney's out for 6 weeks, it would have been probably helpful to get this another 10 in the books, especially one that had a lot of talent, promising talent, and a high ceiling. But it's just like, here's the thing though, Vic, like how many more options are there out there, especially with 8 days left in the window? I'm starting to think that
there's definitely other options out there.
Yeah.
Also, the biggest thing for me with this is
first team options, guys.
Yes, the biggest thing for me with this is, considering how the start of the season has gone, I don't think where Kudus plays is of as biggest concern in attack. I think the other two, as much as I heavily dislike one of the other options, they are more suited to what we need. We need a left winger more than anything. Our left wing options right now are Mudryk and Chilwell. Our right wing options are currently Sterling, who played really well, and Madueke, who has just come back from injury, so it makes sense for him to be a backup as of right now. So it just makes sense. So I'm not that upset. Like it's annoying because I think he is a good player, but I don't think us going and getting him because we need a number 10, quote unquote, when we have other options we can play as the 10. And yeah, we have other options we can play as the 10. And what happens when, Carney's back and Nkunku's back, and we have Kudus as well? That's like 3 10s we have, unless Kudus is going to play on the right. But that's 3 right wingers we have. I think the guys we're signing in Barcola, or we're looking at in Barcola and Johnson, who can play on either side, and in Johnson's case, potentially as a number 9. And that's the thing, right?
Even Barcola has played a stint as a secondary striker in a 2. Even if the club wanted to switch even to 2. But like when you just look at it, Barcola, for example, mainly can play on the left, can even play on the right. So you can even, let's say, if him and Sterling are playing, they can even switch sides if need be. For example, and for me that just brings it. There's even like someone, if you really are looking to spot a cam, Pedro Concalves is another one. I was seeing that one.
He's another one that's been looked at.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought up Barcola, because I did want to discuss him as well. Barcola is another option that was discussed by the journalists. Let's get into the Barcola situation. So here we have the first tweet, kind of contradicting what was said earlier by I forgot his name already. Oh, wait, it doesn't matter. Anyways, the Chelsea recruitment team didn't have Ryan Cherky as a key summer signing. I'm not sure where this news comes from. This is from the Secret Scout. Bobby Vincent was the other one that has mentioned that there's him and Barcola were still on the radar. So now we have news about Barcola. Leon have put forward the figure of 50 million euros to sell Barcola, according to Fabrice Hawkins. Then we have here breaking news. This happened the 17th, so almost a week ago. Chelsea have accelerated for Bradley Barcola in the last few hours. No final green light from the player yet. Leon already refused an offer for 35 million euros from PSG. Then we have here, it's true, Chelsea have followed Bradley Barcola. However, PSG remain in advanced talks on the player side. They remain the favorites, and Chelsea are informed. And Paris Saint-Germain, Fabrizio Romano reporting, are not happy with the club-to-club talks for Bradley Barcola, as Olympique Lyon have changed original asking price multiple times. Barcola agreed terms with PSG in June, but club-to-club situation now tense. Chelsea also asked for Barcola deal conditions last week, and I believe Lyon. Here we go. Fabrizio Romano. Lyon want players included in the deal, plus money for either Chelsea or PSG to let Bradley Barcola leave. And that's probably because they want, to replace the player. And with such little time left in the transfer window, they need solutions to replace that position. But yeah, pretty much that's everything in related to
This is
Barcola.
copyrightable.
No, it's not. I've done it a few times now. Yeah, don't worry. I got away with it. Yeah, I've gotten away with it. These comps are fine. But that being said, the whole Bradley Barcola situation, haven't heard much news anymore about it since. And yeah, I haven't seen much of the player. I do like what I'm hearing about it. People arguing that he's better than Cherki on that right wing. And Cherki not being a viable option because of the whole situation with the attitude issues, which, okay, I mean, fair enough. That's probably a Pochettino preference. What do we think about the whole Barcola situation? I'd like to go back with the whole Kudus thing. What does frustrate me about the whole situation is not that we didn't go for Kudus, but it's more so that the fact that we were so in for Olise was going to happen, and then all of a sudden, we're not moving immediately for our backup, which Kudus seemed to be the alternative option if Olise fell through.
I don't think Kudus was the alternative option. We were never told he was the most alternative option. I just think the club is I think are trying to. I think for me, looking for two more attackers. One of them obviously is the cam or right winger or left winger, whatever it is, and the other one's a striker, right? So I think the club are just looking at the options that are available, trying to make a decision quickly, and then not trying to wait until too soon. Obviously, with the last news about Barcola, it definitely makes me think that the club are probably in talks with Lyon, maybe to give them one or two players, maybe on loan or something like that, plus cash to get it done. It wouldn't surprise me if we found out something where Barcola deal was actually quite close to happening, to be honest. Plus the fact that it's only 42 million that it's going to probably cost you, even if you were to pay in cash. It's a very good deal in my eyes.
The only thing that is annoying for me about this situation is the amount of pivoting that's been done. If you had an idea in mind, obviously Olise may have been the number one, but the amount of pivoting that's being done, I don't see this with City. Look what they wanted. They wanted Doku, or they were looking at Olise and Doku. Olise didn't work. They went and got Doku. They were looking at Paqueta. That fell through because of either the deal didn't work for them or the betting charge, or whatever. They're now in for Nunes. There's a plan there. That's the only thing I'm not liking is the fact that we've pivoted to about 10 different wingers / attackers in the space of a week or two. Whether that be Cherki, Kudus, Olise, Johnson, fucking hell, Barcola.
It's not happening, by the way.
Oh, thank the Lord.
Yeah, we'll go over that. We'll go over it. I have that tweet.
Awful. But yeah, that's just kind of the only thing that annoys me. Again, if we get Barcola, I'm more than happy with him. Because again, we need someone on that left hand side. Our options are Mudryk, who, based on what we've seen, does not look ready to play football right now, and Chilwell, who give me strength. Jesus Christ Almighty! I never want to see that man play left wing again. I'll be completely honest. I don't want to see that guy on a football pitch again, but I know I'm going to have to. I never want to see him play left wing again. That's for damn sure.
Who?
I still have hope for Chilwell left back, but it's his defense. Is his defensive side what's letting him down?
He is not and never will be a left winger.
Yeah, he shouldn't. I agree on that. But
and the fact that he is our starting left winger right now, tells you everything you need to know. So we need a left winger. Starting left winger badly.
Isn't Barcola a right winger mainly, or am I wrong?
Yeah, most of what we're seeing in this clips in front of us, Chris, are from the left.
Yeah, I noticed he's left. That's why. Yeah, so he can play both.
He can play both sides, and I think that's useful having someone. I think that's what's good about him, and I do like is the fact that he can play both sides, and that's what was good about some of the guys we were looking at. Whether that be Kudus, he could play right wing and centrally, right? You had Cherki was the same, but I think it was he could play on the left and centrally. And that's the thing. It's like, I do quite like the fact he is quite versatile in that sense.
Yeah, this guy does look very promising, and I do beg that if Chelsea are going to make a move for a player, they make it soon, because we can't just like I said, there's only 8 more days left to the transfer.
The thing that I
window.
actually do like about him as well, from what I've seen, sorry to interrupt, Tommy. The thing I like about him, and I do quite like, based on a few clips I've seen and what I'm seeing in regards to like Mudryk, is the.
Sorry. Go ahead. I just saw Gabri Vega is going to Al Ahly apparently.
Sorry?
I can't believe I just read that.
Anyway,
Gabri Vega.
Don't distract me. Excuse me. But yeah, like the thing with Barcola, I like what I'm seeing from like those clips, and obviously it's just clips that I'm seeing because I haven't watched really any of him at Lyon. Is it looks like he knows how to control his body. He's quite a tall guy, and it looks like he similar to like how Carney is at the moment, where like even though he's raw, it looks like this is the problem Mudryk has. Is he doesn't know how to control his body. He doesn't know how to control like his speed and whatnot. It looks like he's an 18-year-old playing for the first time in his career. Whereas with Barcola, even though he's tall and he's got quite a long stride, I'm not saying he's as good, but it's similar to like how Leao is. You know how Leao is able to use his body in terms of like, even though he's a tall guy, and you'd expect that like he might find it difficult to like play in tight spaces or to dribble around people. He's actually able to do that quite well because he understands how to use his body. With Barcola, it looks the same. He looks like he understands how to use his kind of frame and things like that really well. Which, if he's able to do that at his age, because I think he's 20, I think I look 20, 21.
20.
I like that from such a young age, because what we're seeing from Mudryk, who's 23, about to be 24. 22, about to be 23. I can't fucking remember. Come January, it's 22, about to be 23. Come January, and he has no idea how to use his frame or his speed or anything. It's quite nice.
Yeah,
I do want to address this comment.
I love, by the way, I love the chat sometimes. I love the
I know. I see some of the
doom and gloom and just the like.
I mean, speaking of doom, that's exactly who I was addressing. I'm
No, it wasn't even just that, to
sign.
be fair. No pun intended, but just the absolute whew.
I know.
Jesus.
I'm baffled how we need to sign 2 to 3 players after 1 billion spent. It's a joke. Okay, so first off, the total cost of the contracts, sure, is 1 billion. We haven't spent it though, not yet. We've only spent about 300 million, I believe, so far in contracts. So there's that, right? And correct me if I'm wrong at any point, guys. So there's that. I know Minerals wants to tell you differently. You know,
Marshall, can I just push back on this? Like, do you understand why we need to sign 2 or 3 more players?
Because we're rebuilding a completely new team.
I was going to say it's because, like, go and look who we're signing. We're signing a backup goalkeeper because we just got rid of the guy who was there before, who was a product of the previous regime. You've got I just mentioned our left back situation. Who we may need a new left back, potentially 2, depending on what happens with Maatsen and what happens going forward, because most of our players don't rate the guy who's backup and the guy who's first choice, who again was bought by the old regime. I'll say that again, he was bought by the old regime, isn't good enough either. Like, I don't care whether you like him because he looks good and you fancy him or whatever, or because he's vice captain. You then look at the fact of our attacking options at left wing are Mudryk and no one else. And at right wing, that's fine. We don't need to buy anyone there. And our backup striker is a guy who's just coming off an ACL injury. That's why we're buying 2 or 3 more players, because we currently don't have those players available, or their players coming off of long injuries. So
since you don't want to do the thinking for yourself and you don't want to be rational, Robbie, let me tell you where the goals are going to come from. Okay, we have Sterling, who's had a history of scoring goals. Did you say Maatsen, Scott?
Jackson.
Oh, Jackson. I was going to say Jackson, who can score goals. Listen, and you guys have to take into account, like, we don't have a fully fit squad. If Nkunku was here, Nkunku can score you goals. You also have Reece James, who can score goals. Chilwell is capable of scoring goals. We saw what happened 2 seasons ago. These guys were arguably en route to becoming our highest goal scorers in the team because we were just playing such attacking wing backs. So that's 6 players that can score goals, and we potentially
Also Marshall.
have goals coming from Enzo, who has a tendency to do long shot goals. He has goals in him. I'm not about to
Marshall's,
explode. I'm being like reasonable here. It's just I'm tired of
Also,
repeating
this
myself.
idea of like goals, like kind of cracks me up in a way, because does anyone know how many players for Manchester City scored double-figure goals 2 seasons
And he's
ago?
proving me wrong, by the way, Metalface Doom. He's been doing
Yeah, he
decent
played well.
in the past 2 games.
Like,
so
but
like I've been doubting
he's
him, but he has the
playing
potential to do it. Sorry, Scott.
I say his playing well also highlights what I said earlier, the fact that he's played well playing on the right. So like that's why we need a left winger.
That's your
but-
opinion, Robbie. But go ahead, Scott.
But the thing is like, what are our expectations in terms of goals? Like, I think that Sterling can get double-figure goals this season if he continues at the same
Yeah, if he keeps playing like
performance he's doing now. I think that Jackson can get double-figure goals. I'll go and ask it again. Does anyone know 2 years ago, before they had Haaland, when they won the Premier League, how many Manchester City players had double-figure goals in the league?
True. Yeah, no
He's
one wants to
all
mention that
scoring,
Man City
yeah.
was scoring goals without a striker.
No, but again, how anyone
Tell me
would like
what
to have a
league.
guess how many in the
Sterling
league?
got like Sterling's like
Sterling
what,
wasn't double digits. I believe Foden wasn't double digits. Who
of
else
them.
was playing? Mahrez? Were any
It's
of them
just
double
Premier League.
digits?
There
about
were
Was that
three-
the question?
Hey,
But they were all scoring.
There were 3 players in that Manchester City squad that got double-figure goals in the league.
What? Yeah, it'd be Sterling then. Sterling's like one of the main scorers.
Sterling
I was
definitely
gonna
one of them.
I was going to say their top 3 was De Bruyne on 15, Sterling on 13, and Mahrez on 11.
Oh, is
Oh,
that
Foden
Sterling's
wasn't
last
even up
season?
there.
Is it, and that's just Premier League, right? Because
I was going to say they had. Hang on. Bear with me a second. They had. I'm trying to do the maths here. Give me a second. 9.
Maybe
Yeah.
Metalface. Maybe.
11, 12. They had 17 different goal scorers across the season.
that's what they did before Haaland came. Like they didn't have a striker, so a bunch.
And that's
of them
what I'm
had,
saying,
like,
and that's them winning the league, by the way. And like,
Don't worry.
None
I
of
got
us
receipts,
on the
my
panel-
dude. Don't worry.
and I don't think anyone.
Hello?
Sorry, I was reading the comment. No, I don't think anyone on this panel, and I don't think most people in this chat think that we're going to win the league, right? I think we're going to finish top 4, maybe top 3, right? If we can, get this hit team as
I
coherent
take
as we
anything, but
showed in the first
anything
game.
top 5 wise.
Cool.
I agree, CFC.
I
Completely.
agree, 100%.
Definitely have to. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and we will. Like, I'm like,
I think we will.
go and look at how many chances we created in the game yesterday. Like, we should have scored 5, potentially 4 or 5. And that's the thing. And it's like, that will come. I have faith in the guys. Like, the thing for me is, with the likes of Jackson, with the likes of others, is like, if you keep getting in those positions, eventually you will score. I'd have more worries if it was a case of like Havertz was last year. Fair.
Yeah.
Havertz was last year, where like he's not getting in those positions to score. Not only is he not scoring, he's not getting in the positions to score.
Yeah.
Whereas Jackson is, Sterling is, you've got Mudryk is. I understand he's been poor, and I'm not thinking he's going to score that many. But
I
what
was
I'm
going to
saying
say
is,
the
like,
same thing, Scott, but thank you for putting it out.
I was say
With Mudryk.
Metaface, don't ask you. How many goals are you expecting Sterling to get this year, for example? How many goals are you expecting Jackson to get this year?
If he
How
keeps
many
playing the
goals-
way he's
When
playing,
he
you can
comes
see
back,
15
when he
goals.
comes back,
Yeah.
how many goals are you expecting Nkunku to get?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
hard with
that's what I
Nkunku
mean.
because he has a big injury again. Like, it's gonna take him a
Obviously-
little bit of time when he comes back as well.
Obviously, I don't think also Scott's not saying that we are like the Man City level, we're the complete like
No,
finished
no,
product
no.
like them. But it is like it's just he's mentioning it in the sense of like it is possible to still have a team that wins games, score goals without necessarily having like three attackers that you're gonna get the goals from. You know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm not. No one
Even
in our
Enzo,
team
I
is
think,
going to
so
get.
score a few as
There's
well.
no one in
Yeah,
our
that's
team
what I mean.
currently, right? Apart from maybe Jackson, and even him maybe an unsure. There's no one in our team that's getting like in the league over 20 goals. Like, I'm not under any illusion of that happening. But I don't think there's any reason why I can't expect most of the team, whether that be the attackers, whether that be helping in from some of the guys on defense, like James when he comes back, or Chilwell if he continues to play,
It's only
or
been
some of the
2
other
games,
midfielders.
Robbie. Be patient.
Yeah, or some of the other midfielders, for example, to pitch in with goals. Where, as a team, like I've got no reason, especially if we end up getting one or two more attackers, like we get Barcola, and let's just say, for argument's sake, we get I don't know, let's just say Balogun as the striker. It's not going to be him. I don't want it to be him for 50 mil, but I'm just going to use it as an example, right? It's the first thing that came to mind. There's no reason why I can't expect us to score at least 60 goals as a team. If you spread it across the whole team.
Let's not forget, we have defenders that seem set pieces. They seem to be able to score goals as well. So we're gonna get goals. I don't doubt that we're gonna get goals this season, especially more than last season. It's not. This isn't the same team. We've completely binned last season's team for the most part, minus like 3 or 4 other players, and we have a completely different team. You are not a patient Chelsea fan. You wanted Mauricio Pochettino out last stream. Okay, you are not a patient Chelsea fan. You are a spoiled Chelsea fan, and I understand why, because you've been a fan for a while and you're used to us winning. But we're a new owner, new project. I get it, and I get where the frustration's coming from. But it's gonna happen. Be patient. It's only 2 games out of 38 games in the Prem. Yeah. So
also,
be patient. Goals will come.
Metal Face Doom's comment, because like what you just said there, that's what City got in the year, like 2 years ago. The year they won the league. That's literally what City got. They got double digits. They got double digits from 2 in terms of goals from 2 of their wingers and 1 of their midfielders. I don't know about assists. But in terms of goals, they got double figure goals from 2 of their wingers. So that's what you're expecting, with the assists running there as well. In fact, you're expecting more because you're expecting double figure goals and assists from the wing backs as well. So
I was going to say,
that's more than what. Or that's as good, or potentially in some cases with certain players more than what City got the year they won the league.
I was going to say to that, Scott, anyway, to like add on to that, like you're talking about like players like score more than 20 goals or something. You need like a world class striker basically that score over 20 goals, I think, in the Premier League. And there's none out there to buy really. Like I can't think of a world class striker to buy like now. Like you're just none available, so it's impossible to get over 20 goals for a player.
Potentially Karim Benzema.
Yeah, but I would love Benzema for a season or 2. I really would have loved that.
We'll see.
Wakey, please.
Hey, don't talk to Lewis too much, man. it's an idea.
Wakey.
Let's speaking of wakey, let's wakey over to the next topic, which is the Johnson links in the entrance. Brennan Johnson, who has the fan base going crazy. Listen, I don't know much about the guy, but hey, I usually trust my panel when it comes to judgments on players here. So Chelsea are interested in Nottingham Forest winger Brennan Johnson, who is valued at £45 million, according from the Guardian. Coming from the Guardian, Chelsea have held preliminary talks with Nottingham Forest over Brennan Johnson. He is valued at £50 million and have already rejected a £40 million bid from Brentford. Okay. So then we have Nottingham Forest have turned to Chelsea's Andre Santos as they look to bolster their midfield, and that could help Mauricio Pochettino. Chelsea have been considering Forest Brennan Johnson for a number of weeks, and the idea of loans such as Santos plus cash to secure the Wales international appeal to some staff at the club. And then here we have Fabrizio basically saying, Chelsea appreciate Brennan Johnson as talented player, but didn't submit any bid. Not negotiating to sign Brennan as of today. Club looking at different options in positions as things stand. So it looks like we're not going to go for this guy. No bid has been placed, but there's still links. I guess I mean, since he's a Welsh international, I would say, Chris, this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I was going to say he's like. I have seen him play for Wales. He's like a Welsh Timo Werner. He's got great movement. He needs to work on his finishing. He does actually need to work on his finishing. He looks all right, but he's not worth 40-50 million.
That might be one of the worst endorsements of a player I've ever heard in my life. He's basically the Welsh Timo Werner. Brilliant.
Well, yeah, because like he doesn't score his chances. He's got great movement. That's what I'm going to describe him as. I've seen him play.
Listen, man. There are better options than Brennan Johnson available in the market. I understand maybe the idea of it.
He's at best.
Yes,
he's at best. Nottingham Forest's third best attacker. At best.
No, he's the third best. He's the third best. Yeah,
he's at best their third best attacker. They have 2 attackers that are better than him.
Yeah, Awani and Gibbs White.
He's got great movement, but.
Gotta love Chris, guys. You gotta love Chris.
He wasn't there to help them out to win the league, man, to save them from relegation, bro. It was Awani and Gibbs White that were doing the work, man. What was he doing?
Also,
running up and down like Timo Werner.
Like there's there's nothing about this transfer that is in any way enticing at all. By the way, as well, that Andre Santos thing, so he can go there and be their 4th choice midfielder as well. Like, they've got about 1 million midfielders in that team. Like, also, I want him to go somewhere. Like, he could have gone to Porto and been playing there. You could send him to Strasbourg. Like, just no words. Yeah, this transfer sucks. Like, this is look at his. Actually, I might Marshall. I might send you the. Someone sent. Oh, I saw it. That his stats on a website I found are terrible. Like, bottom tier.
I don't want Santos to go anywhere because I feel like there is a use for him at Chelsea. But listen, this might be speaking from ignorance. I don't know shit about Nottingham Forest, but surely if he goes to Nottingham Forest, he starts. He must be better than the midfields they have there.
I mean,
am I wrong in saying that?
You would hope so. That's what I'd like think about that, because I don't know about their midfield too.
I know nothing about this guy.
I know a little bit about Brennan Johnson. I'm hoping he does well in the future, but that's why
I've just sent you his
he's
stats.
going to Tottenham apparently. Yeah, Tottenham want him now, so he's going there.
Send it to me on Twitter.
Yeah. So
up the stats.
Looking like, even at that killer chance.
Again, I'll say
looking
this
like what, Ahmed? Oh, okay.
Looking at top spuds.
Yeah.
I'll also say take these stats with a pinch of salt, because take all stats with a pinch of salt. But if this is meant to be a data-driven transfer, what data are they looking at?
All right, let me pull this up on the screen for you guys. Give me one second.
Bro, when you see this, I
did see it. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna give you a preview. It's all red.
Ah, sounds good.
Well, there's some green. I'll show you.
Oh yeah, in Aerial Duels 1, where he's in the 56th percentile.
Oh.
Brilliant.
No, I was just referring to the green of the lettering, the position he's picked. That's about it. It's not really green. Oh boy, this is not good. In the last year, so we have no penalty goals, non-penalty goals, less than 20.25 per 90. I'm not gonna read this. You guys see this. This is pretty bad.
You're looking at he's in the bottom 1 percentile for passes attempted, passes completed, and number of progressive passes in a match. So he's not creative. He's also not a goal scorer. Consistent goal scorer, I'll say that much. Like, at the very least, when I look at like Barcola, like, he doesn't necessarily look like a consistent goal scorer, right? But he looks like a creative force. When I look at Kudus, for example, he doesn't look that creative, but he is a good goal scorer. The fuck is Johnson bringing? Aerial Duels 1, maybe, or Block.
We need more Aerial Duels 1. We're missing that in our team. Jesus Christ. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I'm hoping Fabrizio's right, and there's not really much interest in this guy. Moving on to the next one, which we've already had Scott said that he doesn't agree with the transfer, but I think this one's been interesting, to say the least. And I am interested to see what the rest of the panel has to say about this guy. Obviously, putting your bias aside, and do remember, for the Chelsea fans listening, do remember that usually when we get Arsenal players, they tend to do better for us than when Arsenal players or Chelsea players go to Arsenal. I'll just put that out there. This seems to be the trend. But let's just discuss Florian Balogun for 50 million. Talk to me.
I just to change what you said, I didn't say I didn't rate the transfer. I don't rate the transfer for the money. I like Balogun. I actually do like him. I thought he did really well last season at Fulham. 50 million is not what we should be paying. Absolutely not. Should be like half that, 30 mil. We shouldn't be paying any more than we paid for Jackson.
So
like, I quite like him. I think he is quite good. And when I saw him like in a few clips here and there for like the USMNT, it looked quite good. And yeah,
I've seen more than what I've seen, to be honest. And I watched the US men's national team.
He scored quite a lot of goals in Ligue 1, and obviously the what's it called, the transition from Ligue 1 to the Premier League is quite good. Sure. But yeah, I do like him, but yeah, not for that. That's way too expensive.
So let's get into some details about it then. Chelsea hold an interest in Florian Balogun. However, Arsenal want £50 million, but fully expect that price tag to increase for their London rivals, which is I think that's a sticking point for a lot of the fan base. But let's continue. Chelsea share a strong positive relationship with Florian Balogun agents, as previously reported. The strikers Balogun, sorry. Fulham Balogun agents, as previously reported. The strikers reps also represent Romeo Lavia, which, okay, that makes sense. Moving forward, Fabrizio Romano saying, Chelsea had a conversation with Fulham Balogun agent last week. They were informed of the potential deal, but there were no negotiations and nothing concrete. Arsenal want important money. That's the key word right there. Important money. Let's see what Chelsea decides to do with the striker option. Chelsea are still searching for a new forward. This came out today, by the way. In the market, they are also unlikely to pursue Balogun. And so, yeah. So I've seen a little bit of the player. It does look interesting. He does seem to have like a pretty good conversion rate based on, you know, his play time and where he's played. I think he played 10 games for Arsenal and scored 2 goals, which, yeah, you look at that, it doesn't seem that good, but I don't know, guys. I know Scott already said a little bit of on Balogun. What do the rest of you guys think on him?
He might be decent.
I think with me when it comes to Fulham and Balogun, it's like you might as well. You have Jackson, so what's the point of getting him? You got to be getting a similar output,
competition.
What's Poch asked for? He's asked for experience. He's not asked for competition. He's asked for experience. The experience is the competition, in my opinion. Right now, this guy is going to score 20 goals in League 1. Let's not 22 or 20 goals in League 1. He's same age, if I'm not mistaken, as Jackson as well. So. And you're probably going to be expecting him to score 5 to 10 goals as well. So, and you're expecting Jackson probably to score 5 to 10 goals as well. So, what difference has that made to us?
Fofana's not here right now. Broja, we don't know his future, so it's like really like, at least with Balogun, we listen. I'm on the fence on this one because I don't like the price. I like what I've seen so far and the stats.
I understand Keyshawn saying they're different players, but like it's not even the fact they're different players for me. It's just that we need experience in the position. Like Broja probably staying at this point. I don't really see any movement happening for him. I'll be real. The fact that they only come back to training now probably would tend to me.
You know, in all honesty, what I'd rather do, I'd rather not get this player, and I'd rather just wait till January and see if we can muster up something for Tony. I'd really rather do that. If you want experience, Tony has the experience. We'll see what happens with him after the thing, but like save the money at this point. Like, listen, I think Chelsea fans are going to be disappointed that there is a strong possibility we make no more transfers for the rest of the window.
I don't.
And
know.
Then we could.
No. There's definitely one coming.
I think there's definitely one coming.
We'll see. I mean, is it going to be a first team transfer? I don't think so. But where I'm at is like. Well, why does it have to be now? Why can't it be in January?
No, because we need a winger.
Look at our left wing. We have Chilwell left wing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We can't do that. We can't do that the whole like first half of the season or whatever. Like if we're asking for that, then we're asking for trouble in the season. Like we're asking maybe not get Champions League spot. And I'm pretty sure the owners want Champions League spot. You know, for good sponsors or whatever, more money. They want an investment, like money back from this massive investment they've thrown over the last 2 seasons of money. Of like getting in players in and out, so like bringing this player is a bad move for like 50 million, and it says enough as well for me. If Arsenal are willing to sell this player, is he good enough? Like they're probably just taking
no. I think he wants to leave, and like he's what's happening is that his like agent is shipping him out. It's basically like showing him up to different clubs, essentially saying, "Oh, come buy him, come buy him."
Another thing, Ahmed, do you see any club? Yeah, paying 50 million for this guy.
No, maybe. I'll actually be honest. I think maybe Monaco might be forced into it because they need. Because obviously, with the situation with the striker, his name Beneda. Yeah, he's looking like he's going to the jailhouse for a long time. So they need someone. So I think he might actually.
He's going where?
Wait, Chris, can I ask you a question? Do you think, or do you have a problem with the player or the price?
Mainly the
both?
price, because I wouldn't mind it if it's like 20 million, like whatever. Like we signed a bunch of players for 20 million at this point.
Sure.
He may look promising or whatever. Like it's the promising part, but I'm just sick of like signing too many youth players, basically stuff like that. Like it's annoying. Like just we need some experience. We need some first team players, like to help our season. I want us to get Champions League football like desperately.
The issue we've got though. The issue
Jesus
we've got
Christ,
though,
dude,
right?
it's been 2 games. Calm down. Go ahead, Scott.
The issue we've got, and I like when people keep talking about this experience thing, where is that experience coming from? Like, who are we getting this experience?
No, so apparently they want like a Poch wants an experienced striker. I've said
Yeah,
this
no,
already. It's very hard.
that's fair. But that's like I keep like where who because like what
right
and
now,
what do you call
probably-
experience like? Because I think this is the thing is like because
age play, Premier League experience.
for
I know.
example, right? Let's just say for example, like Vlahovic, I don't class him as experienced from an age perspective or a games played perspective, really. So like, and they were looking at him. So like, and like, who is out there? I guess the question I'm trying to ask is who's out there that you can get as a viable option that's experienced. The only one that comes to mind because he's linked with Spurs is Taremi, and I wouldn't be opposed to him because he actually looks quite good. Apart from that, who's out there you can go and get that's experienced?
He's very much
31
it.
though.
Taremi, yeah, is 31.
Yes,
Doesn't that
but that's the
concern
point.
you?
Why?
No, but that's the point.
Isn't that a little too much though?
Okay, so who is out there that's, let's say, 26, 27, 25, 26, 27, that is attainable right now that you could go and get? That's going to
Not
give
really
you the
many. Like
experience you
Tony,
want,
we got the
and it's going to
Osimhen's,
push.
yeah.
You've got Tony. Osimhen's going to cost you 180 mil.
Exactly.
And we've
But
already got
even
people complaining. You've already got people complaining about how much we're spending, and you want to go and just spend another 180 mil.
That's what I'm saying to you. It's not impossible for that to happen. And that's why for me, even Taremi, it would probably cost you 30 million euros. That's apparently the price they pitched to Tottenham. So having him, honestly, because Marshall, I'll go to you, 2 years, 30 million or something like that. You pay 30 million for him for 2 years, and you can probably ship people off in the 3rd year. Is that not? Do you not think that's a good deal for you? And
I'm not trying to compare the player, but if we just want experience for the sake of experience, and I'm not saying Taremi's just for the sake of experience, like genuinely I don't know enough about the player, but at 31 it does concern me how much he can give Chelsea. At that point, why didn't we just keep Aubameyang?
Oh my god.
That's a fair question. That's a fair question. I don't think he would have worked with what Poch want, but I think that's a fair question. I think, and this is the thing, is like,
For the experience.
Yeah,
like, and I think this is the thing of like, the options out there for the striker market are so limited in terms of there is absolutely no chance right now this window of getting someone who is A, world class, and B, experienced. Not a hope in hell. Like, that's not happening. There's no one you're getting that is a guarantee world class striker and is experienced. Like, unless the club is going to go out like do something I don't expect, and like I said earlier, I said tongue in cheek, but I'm 100% take it. Unless they go and loan Benzema or something. Like, there's no one else you'll get in this window. Like, there's no one else you'll get in this window.
The thing is, like, we know the club didn't want Aubameyang partially because he was from the Tuchel era, and they didn't even want him in the first place. So that's the reason why. And like, I think even like when Aubameyang, like, I know like he was good when he was at Barcelona, but when he came to us, bro, he had a few good games, but like he wasn't the former self. Like, he was lacking that vision, bro.
It's so
even
hard to
like
say
I watched
that
him
though, because he didn't get enough play time.
Because like if you look at him at Marseille now, because I saw that Marseille European game that they lost, he's not the same guy anymore. Like, you can actually see that because he actually played a full game there. He had his preseason, was not the same brother. But the thing with me,
wait, hold on though. But like, Ahmed, hold on. Like, you could easily say that's because he basically didn't play for a whole season. How are you expecting a man that basically didn't play the whole season to come back and be like, oh, it's Aubameyang's back? It's gonna take time.
But again, I can come back to you and then say, okay, if that's the case, you ask him to come back to our team who's not played a whole season and to give us the experience that we need. Is he going to be able to provide that then?
Maybe, but I'm just putting that as an argument.
No, but like again, like I understand your argument, but then I can just say again, okay, he's not played for. Oh yeah, we're trying to bring him back into the squad as an experienced sort of guy that we need. He's not going to work then as well. If he's not working, if he's not himself now, he's not going to be himself now for us as well. So,
but that's the thing though. Like he
the thing of
obviously, if he
Taremi, the
were to
reason
play-
why.
Okay, go on, Taremi.
Well, the thing of Taremi is we've known he's been playing regularly in like Liga Portugal, in the Champions League. We've seen him play. We know he's at least got everything ready and prepped for him to come to a league. Only thing is going to be about, is he going to fit in? You understand what I'm trying to say? And then that's up to the club to do their research and everything to see if he'll
Stop
be
with this
the right
Greenwood
fit.
shit in the chat. Stop with the Greenwood shit in the chat.
Hey,
I do not want to be associated
don't-
with it.
Let's chill out.
Hey,
Man.
let me, I'll say the
That's
fact. Let it say everything.
We're not
that
that
Saudi
desperate.
Arabia. I'll say let it say everything that Saudi Arabia. No, allegedly, maybe not even allegedly, how sketchy their morals are. Let's say they've told their clubs not to go anywhere near him.
They're trying to have a clean image, man. There's no way they're going for Mason Greenwood. There's literally no
I'm
way they're
sorry.
going for Mason Greenwood.
I'd rather
I
Lukaku.
don't know.
I'd rather on a serious note,
Yeah,
hand on heart, I'd rather Lukaku.
yeah. I think even I could say that too, just from a PR perspective. Ahmed, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I obviously finish your statement. What you were saying about Taremi.
I'm just saying, literally, with Taremi, it's just about the fit. Like I understand your point about Birmingham saying that if he's not the same now, right? Because he's not playing a year of football. I get that, but then it just applies for us too. Then it's not going to be the same for us either. So that's just the thing. Like it's a very difficult thing, and I think someone said also the high wage. That's probably also the reason why they want Birmingham there. He's probably not.
Oh yeah, that's probably fair. That's probably fair. The wages is probably where like I lose this argument because like yeah, his wages are probably a little bit lavish, for lack of a term. I mean,
What?
we'll see. I don't think I disagree with you guys. I don't think we're gonna. I have a feeling we're not gonna make another signing, and I think we're just gonna
I'm
wait
fine with not
and
making
hold our laurels till January.
We're-
Go ahead, Scott.
we're
I actually
definitely
think it's a striker.
taking the goalkeeper out, by the way, because obviously we're signing goalkeeper. In terms of forward position, I 100% think we're signing a forward, most likely a winger, because we friggin' need one. Striker, I agree with you. I think striker they may decide to kind of hold off on to see what happens with Tony.
Because we know that with Stanley apparently is a big fan of what's it called, Ivan Toney. So I can see that happening where we don't buy a striker at all. But definitely number 10 or wingers coming in for Poch. I could because they after that is for sure that will happen. I'm pretty sure. The fact that it's already been reported by Fabrizio has already reported that the club are actively searching for one means that they're trying to make it happen.
So let's actually discuss the goalkeeper thing that Scott brought up. And then, guys, we'll talk about Lukaku, which happened. Okay, so we'll be discussing Lukaku very shortly. But let's talk about Petrovic. Here we go. It's done. So let's just go over this whole goalkeeper situation. So Chelsea have decided against a move to sign top-level goalkeeper and will instead target a young supporting option after backing Robert Sanchez, who was originally signed to compete with Kepa for the starting spot. Moving forward, we have here Fabrizio Romano saying Chelsea submitted formal proposal for New England Serbian goalkeeper. I'm so sorry. Georgi Petrovic. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Georgi Petrovic. Bid worth £15 million, as reported tonight by Jacob Steinberg. Negotiations are still ongoing. That was earlier in the week. Breaking. Chelsea submit bid of around £15 million for goalkeeper Georgi Petkovic. I thought it was Petrovic. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, it's Petrovic. Okay. Chelsea believe Petrovic is the right level to push Sanchez and take his number one spot if performances slip. That's a lot of that's a lot of expectations there. But Chelsea are closing in on a 11.8 billion, £8 million deal to sign New England Revolution goalkeeper Georgi Petrovic. Petrovic is regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the MLS, and Chelsea are confident of wrapping up the deal before the transfer window shuts down on Friday next week. And here we go. Georgi Petrovic to Chelsea. Here we go. Verbal agreement in place with New England Revolution on €16 million euros deal. Medical test booked on Wednesday for the Serbian goalkeeper who's going to compete with Robert Sanchez. Going on, understand Georgi Petrovic will sign on Wednesday as new Chelsea player. It will be a 7-year contract until 2030. Told it will include the option for 1 more year, $17.5 million fixed fee plus $2.2 million in add-ons with New England Revolution. Exclusive story. Here we go, confirmed. And then, yeah, you guys can check it out right there. But this player, I don't know. He's not American. He's Croatian. He came to the MLS from Croatia or Serbia. I'm sorry. So
Don't get them twisted, big man. Just let you know, don't get them twisted, please. For yourself, for your safety. That's what I'm telling you. Hey,
you gotta be careful.
I saw crazy jokes already.
Let's go backstage then, yeah? We'll go backstage.
We're gonna get taken backstage, man. But what do we think about this transfer, guys?
I
I haven't seen too much of him.
No idea, bro. All I've heard from him is that apparently he's a very good shot stopper and he has good distribution. But we'll see at AFC Wimbledon if he's got the minerals in it. So.
Oh, you think he's gonna play? You think he's gonna play that game?
Oh, because Nizar said they're planning to try to get him to play for the AFC Wimbledon game.
Okay, fair enough. I think it'd be nice. I mean, listen, with the MLS goalkeepers, I mean, I don't think they're bad. Like I said, I think there's a lot of gems in the MLS when it comes to the goalkeeping, and if he's rated as a top goalkeeper in MLS, I think that's not something to laugh at. So,
one thing I will say with the MLS, yeah, they have a good crop. The US usually has a good crop of goalkeepers, like Bradfield. Who's the other guy? I always forget. That's from the
City
US.
signed one, didn't they?
Kuzan was another one, even though he was a bit bad at Aston Villa, I'll be honest. There's like a bunch of them that have been from the US. Oh yeah, even the guy from Everton that was at United as well. Tim Howard is another one too.
Just gonna point something out, by the way. He's not American.
I know,
I know he's not American. I know he's not American, but I'm saying like those guys that have like played the MLS from that era and then come to England, essentially. Of course he's not. I know he's not American. Oh yeah, Keyshawn.
He's good to save penalties, by the way. He's saving a lot of penalties.
Yeah, he should. He's apparently, as his stats were like, he saves 1 penalty for every 4 penalties he takes. You know, for every 4 penalties that gets taken against him, he saves 1.
Yeah, he looks like a great.
He's a quality shot stopper. No, it's okay. He's a quality shot stopper. Like, I watch the MLS like fairly frequently, and yeah, he is unbelievable as a shot stopper. I don't know how good he is in terms of distribution, but as a shot stopper, unreal. Like, he is arguably the best keeper in that league. He's better than Matt Turner, who they had before, who was equally as good in that league as well. And I don't think he's been terrible since he's come to the Premier League. And the fact that Petrovic is better, like, I'm excited. And I've said this before as well. I do think eventually Petrovic will take Sanchez's place.
Wow.
I don't see why not. I don't really rate Sanchez that highly. He's definitely serious competition. He could probably even start like games this season. Like, if Sanchez ain't done much for us so far. Like, the 2 games he didn't really do much. He did 1 decent save against West Ham, as I remember, but that's about it. Like, this keeper looks like he has some good saves in him as well. So some competition, and he's only 15 mil, so he's quite cheap as well. It's not a ridiculous fee.
To answer this question, Ahmed, you're probably curious too. The last 2 streams, I've tried playing comps from Twitter on here, and I have not gotten flagged for it. Knock on wood. So I'm hoping. Because it's comps, because it's cropped, and there's no audio, because the audio is usually copyrighted music, we should be good. And on top of it, I'm pretty sure Twitter doesn't let you play videos that are copyrighted. So Twitter has its own copyright strike algorithm in place. So if it's good on Twitter, then it must be good for YouTube. That's my logic. So that's why
I also think
that's how.
I also think it might be from the YouTube thing. Yeah, I think it might also be like YouTube probably can't detect it either. That's probably why you're saying.
Could be that
I see a bunch of comps before on YouTube, so I think it's fine. And like you said, no sound, no nothing.
And that's the other thing too. There's a bunch of comps on YouTube. Usually, if there's like if I play a Premier League game, specifically from the Prem, then I do get flagged. I'm experimenting. Sometimes you got to take some risks, ladies and gents. But I hope you guys like it, because it is a little more entertaining to watch, especially when you don't know anything about these players.
Get the Arabic guy, man. Get the Arabic guy. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see. But no, this. I mean, from what I'm seeing in this comp, and again, I do rate most MLS keepers that are linked to any club. You know, a lot of American keepers are good, and I know he's not American, but you know, the American keepers come from MLS, and MLS maybe not the best defensively when it comes to
That's why they're good at goalkeeping, because their defense is shit.
They got to defend a lot.
Not really, man. To be fair, man. Did you see that Messi goal? Like, did you see the Messi goal, bro, from 30 years old, bro? What was your GK doing there, man?
I think they like to give Messi goals, you know, because he's
Which
the
one?
goat.
You know the one where he just scored like way outside the box, inside the box, and then it's like,
Was in the one from the game recently, bro? That was an incredible.
No, not that one. It was the one before. It's second, the semi-final, where he kicked it out, and I think it's against the Jamaican goalkeeper. Like he hit it like from like out way outside the box.
Oh yeah, Andre, bro.
Yeah. That was.
I know what
crazy,
you're
bro.
about.
Like, that was hilarious.
But
man.
hey, Scott's speaking highly of this guy, so I'm willing to give it a
I
shot.
do really like him.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. I mean, what Scott said before about Sanchez. Sanchez doesn't fill me with confidence, but then again, I don't think he's been tested enough to fill me with confidence at Chelsea. I'm only basing what I know of Sanchez off of what I've seen at Brighton, and there's promising things, but there seems to be a little bit of shakiness when it comes to him at Chelsea, which does make me a little nervous. But at the same time, our defense in general has been shaky for the last few games. So we'll see. I mean, if it's competition and if he ends up being good, then who knows? Maybe we don't need to go for Maignan next season and whatnot. So, or next season, next window. So let's see. But okay, guys. So this is the situation everyone's been talking about. There's breaking news that came out on this, and let's discuss it now. Okay. So Lukaku, the situation. There's been some updates. This guy. Anyways. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start from 3 days ago. Fabrizio Romano reporting Pochettino. Romelu Lukaku's situation was clear before I arrived. Between the club and the player, for us, there's nothing to do. It's not only one side, it's two sides. It's two sides to try to find the best solution. You cannot put it only on the club. Then we have here Lukaku has not once spoke to Pochettino and is training with the U21s. Moving on, we have Fabrizio Romano saying here, at the moment, the deal with Vlahovic and Lukaku is off also because Chelsea are not convinced of this possibility. But let's see if Chelsea get desperate, because they are desperate to get rid of Romelu Lukaku, and Lukaku has agreement with Juventus. Keep an eye on this until the end of the market. Going on, Matt Law reporting sources have poured cold water on Chelsea's supposed interest in Dusan Vlahovic, although the pessimism may be tested if Juventus reduce the fee for the Serb even further, and a solution to his costly wages can be found. Then we have here, Chelsea may soon face the prospect of reducing their £35 million asking price for Romelu Lukaku, or be forced to accept loan offers to get rid of him, which is what I've been saying. Probably this might be the only option, but now we have a new thing that came up we'll discuss. They also face the issue of running out of loan spots, with new rules limiting clubs to 5 overseas senior loans, and they only have just 2 remaining. Chelsea have also seen Al Hilal withdraw from the race for Romelu Lukaku after signing Alexander Mitrovic for £46 million this weekend. It raises concerns that potential Saudi route is now off the table. It is off the table. No other Saudi club want him. It was only Al Hilal, and they got Mitrovic. Also, Chris, you're in the mud. Anyways, moving forward. Breaking. Mauricio Pochettino would like to speak to Romelu Lukaku to see the foreseeable of the feasibility of integrating him into the season's squad. This is coming from DeMarzio. And first comment is watch out. Okay, I think that's understandable after this. Then we have here Fabrizio basically confirming it. Told Pochettino's position on Romelu Lukaku remains clear. He always said in public and private discussion that he doesn't want players in the squad who don't want to be at Chelsea. They didn't receive different message as of now, as they feel Lukaku only wants to leave. So conflicting reports between Nazar Cancella, that was Nazar I just read, right? And Fabrizio Romano. So, guys, has it come down to this?
Well,
why
if I see Lukaku play for Chelsea again, I'll hunt him down myself. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I'm not joking.
He is a good goal scorer though. Like, that's the one thing
Oh
I
my
can say about him.
God.
But the rest
Where's a K a
outweighs,
week, bro?
it just outweighs like everything about him. Like his
It doesn't outweigh it,
negativity.
bro. This guy
He's-
is 31 years old, man. No. Okay, it's over, man. I'm so sorry, man. I
Is it
don't
over?
wanna. Yes, it's over, man. I don't want...
Anything
We have like 8 days of
outside
transfer.
of
Do you see him
better
going?
average.
What?
We have like 8 days left of the
I love
transfer,
that.
right? Do you see him going?
Congratulations, 8 days in Europe.
Thank you,
But we
Scott.
have another 15 days, and guess where? Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia. So
If
we
they
still got
take it.
time.
But there's
Every
no
day.
one in Saudi Arabia that want him. Listen, I'm not trying. Listen, first of all, I just realized how that came off. I'm not siding with Chris. I'm just saying there's no one in Saudi Arabia that want him. That's
Honestly,
the shitty part. Al Hilal was the
Marshall-
only club.
Marshall, I couldn't care less. He can just train the under 21s, play the under
Yeah,
21
exactly. He
games.
can stay
It's
there.
like drink water. That's like drink water. That's like we did with drink water. We literally got told drink water. Just train the under 21s and play with the under 21s. Literally,
How much is drink
and playing the
water?
PL2. Same. It was on 150, 160.
Yeah, about 100 something. It wasn't 325k a week. Or
Well,
whatever.
listen, mate. couldn't give a crap, mate. I actually couldn't give a crap.
And
Just
we
let
might
him
need
play.
a striker.
Let him
No.
play in the favelas. Let him play in the favelas. That's it. Simple as that.
I was just saying, let him play in the like. There is not a single positive to bringing him back into this team.
He scores goals. That's the only thing I can talk about. That's the only thing without
That's what it
really
is.
bringing
I
too much
highlight
emotion
that.
in like to the game of it. Like he scores goals, and I don't want him to be a main star because I don't think it's good enough. Like he doesn't make great movement or whatever. Like, but he does score goals, and maybe coming off the bench. But if
What is
beats
he scoring? What is he
professional,
going to score for you, mate? What is he going to score for you?
the
his
chance
teammate-
if he gets
Pull up a
fed,
Lukaku card.
One second,
No,
One second, Chris. Yeah, we need to answer this question to me, bro. If his teammates don't like him, what makes you think his teams are gonna pass to him in the game? What are we doing here?
we might be
We're gonna-
desperate. We might be desperate because like look at
No,
where
we're
West
not-
Ham
we're not
is.
But
desperate,
even
bro.
but hold on, even if we're desperate, I maybe you guys disagree with me, but like I think just take the loan at this point. Just take the loan. It's better than nothing.
Mhm.
Listen, we still got 8 days left anyway. Like Marshall, we
Who
probably
would
get
want him
something
on
else
loan
done.
at this point? Because I don't think Inter want him.
Well, Juve wants him on loan.
West Ham want him on
Inter,
loan.
well, not Inter. Inter don't want him anymore. But
West
like
Ham want him on
Juve
loan.
want him on loan.
West Ham want him on loan. Apparently, they've even inquired about Lukaku.
Obligation.
Send it to West Ham. I don't care
Need
about
that.
obligation or not. Just send
We
them,
need
bro.
we need
I
a
was gonna
sell.
say, I don't care where you send him. Send him to the farthest reaches of the earth. I don't care. Like, do not bring him back into this team. If he ends up staying, by the way, again, I'm fine with that. Just keep him here if need be, and don't even let him train.
Yes.
Send him at home. Because guess what?
Don't let-
Eventually, it'll reach a
Don't let
point.
him in Cobham.
Nope.
Take his key fob away. Don't let him in
Eventually, it
Cobham.
will reach a point. Eventually, it'll reach a point where he wants to move because of the Euros. He'll want to move as much as we do. I think he probably already wants to move, but
You know what I think, Scott? Though, if we do have to keep him this season, right? Well, not maybe the whole season, halfway through, right? We see Ivan Toney, right? We can offer Lukaku with a little bit of money to Ivan Toney. Maybe Brentford be tempted with a Lukaku.
Bro, but
sign.
he might not want to go there.
what?
Maybe Lukaku goes to Brentford and we get Ivan Toney.
They've already
but-
got two better players than him up front.
Are
They
you,
got Wissa and they got Mbemo. What are you talking
and
about?
are you listening? Are you
Jack
listening
Nis-
to yourself, Chris?
Yeah, no, but okay,
Why does he want-
Jack
why-
scores more
Chris?
Lukaku.
Chris.
Who?
Why does Lukaku want to go to Brentford?
Like I said, play games in the Premier League, then you can play Europe. I don't know.
What are they
Again,
paying him?
Why does he want to go to Brentford?
He doesn't want to go anywhere, apparently. He doesn't want to go to Saudi. He doesn't want to go to, like, Juventus, not Juventus, Inter now.
What? Can I ask
No,
Chris?
no, no.
Why are you,
He
why
wants
you
to
got-
go
why
to
are you
Juve.
so- why are you Lukaku Defence League all of a sudden? What is?
I'm not even I'm saying I would prefer to sell him, but if we can't sell him,
Why,
then I
why,
would
why
use
isn't
him.
it just simply with you just get him out? It doesn't matter where he goes.
I don't mind, like, Andrew, if we can sell him to Saudi or whatever, I would get him out the door. Yes, I would sell him.
You want
because,
to bring him back?
No. I don't want, it's like, if we have to keep him, then I would have him as a bench option because, like, he is a goal scorer, but I wouldn't
But
actually
hang
want
on.
to keep him.
But why would you have him as a bench option when it's quite clear that Poch doesn't want him?
And he doesn't want to stay either.
I know he doesn't want to stay.
I think we need to ask the real question
It's
here.
such a horrible situation we've been playing. We paid 100
No, it's
million for
not.
this guy.
No, it's not. Chris, I want to ask you.
We did. We paid 100 million for this guy.
What has Lukaku? Chris, what has Lukaku got on you, bro? What has Lukaku got? What has Lukaku got on you, bro? Let's let us know, man. You know what I'm saying? Has he got
He
something?
doesn't know me, man.
I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing. He wants to keep in the Premier League So when he comes up in the FPL, he can trade him into his draft team. I know exactly what he's doing.
Fuck you, Chris.
I knew it.
You're in the mud. Stay in the mud, all right?
I don't know if he's a better striker, but last season Lukaku was
scumbag.
better. Lukaku was better than him last season, by the way.
Oh
Who?
my god, you need to chill out.
The
Marsh.
comment just
Then who? Then,
Val.
wait, then who?
Vlal.
Vlahovic?
Yeah, he was better.
Why is
last
that the
season.
benchmark? Sorry,
I know,
why is
I
that
know,
the
I know.
benchmark?
It's not a good benchmark, but I'm just saying he scored more goals last season with less minutes.
And guess what, Chris? Like, Awonyi was better than him last season. Like, that's the benchmark we're working with.
Yeah,
Like, what are you
it's
doing
in the
here?
mud. It's in the mud. I do agree with you guys mostly. I want to, like, you know, move him on, like, sign him for 30, 40 million, whatever money we get, so we can actually like get another player in or something. Because I don't really want him to stay. But if we can't sell him, then I would use him. But
This guy
longest
wants
Poch
fancy
would
draft
actually use it.
points. Unbelievable.
You're gonna keep saying that, aren't you?
Conspiracy.
It is what it is. Like, I wish we didn't buy him now. I wish we can go back in time and stop that deal because 100 million. He's the biggest
The
flop.
worst
in the Premier-
transfer.
It's the biggest flop in
ever.
the Premier League history. It's
Ever.
the biggest flop. And
The
I
worst
see. I'm
transfer in the
I'm
history
shitting
of
on him right
football.
now. It's not like I love him. Like, oh, he's so good. Like, he's not that good. He's just a decent goal scorer.
Oh, these.
So if he's just nothing but a decent goal scorer, why do you want him involved in the squad?
Just as a bench player. Like, I'm not saying.
What
as,
does
like,
that mean, bench player, bro?
Like,
You
to just come off from the bench and score goals, hopefully.
Oh my god.
And maybe start some
finally
games
found
like FA Cup.
something.
Hopium, man, Hopium.
Like, we
Yeah,
have
this
maybe no
Hopium-
other
this
striker. We
Hopium
may
is
not
unbelievable.
have another striker. I'm just saying as well. Like, we just might have to rely on Jackson. That's not gonna be
We
great,
got
is it?
Burstow, man. Let's rely.
Oh,
I'd
okay.
rather rely on Burstow
Yeah,
than rely on Lukaku. Honestly, I'd rather rely on Burstow, a young 16, 17 year old
Exactly.
kid. Yes, than Lukaku.
Lukaku should never ever play for this club again, ever.
Look at the people asking questions of you, Chris, bro. Are you asking if you're mentally sane in chat, bro? Literally.
Trust me, I'm fine. Like, it's fine.
I don't know.
Man, we need to, listen, man. Just let us know, man.
You already know my stance on it.
Yeah.
If we can't get rid of him, I would use him. But if not, what is this? Okay, it's a bad comp of
So-
Lukaku.
To remind you
Trust
that
me,
why
yes.
he's trash.
He's not the greatest on the, like, you know, the ball and everything. Like, he can miss his odd chance as well, of course. But I don't know. I know he was shit first. Like, he wasn't that great. He still like scored. Hasn't he still scored the most goals since he left our club though for a striker? Like, and the attacker. I think he still maybe like scored the most goals since he's left, like as an attacker.
Oh, I actually want to. No, man. Listen, Lukaku, man, it's not happening. He'll probably go out on loan or be
What the
sold
fuck
out.
was
Simple
that
as
press? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
He hasn't got the greatest press. Yeah, I know.
So why? So why do you want
Yeah,
to know a system that we're trying to press in then?
I don't know. It could be that lazy. I don't know. Striker up top. I just said bench option. I don't want to.
Actually,
Bro, the
you are such a
opium
troll.
here is
He's a
unbelievable.
troll. It's not hope here, man. He's trolling us, man. You need to stop.
No,
trolling
no.
us,
But you're
Chris,
saying
man.
why would you want him? I'm saying it's a bench player, so he comes on like.
So
you wanna
have a 300 You want to have a 350k player on the bench?
Wait. You guys want him? No, you guys want him on the like sitting at home for 325k.
Yes.
That's even worse.
Is it?
Well,
I feel
you
like
just
he'll do
said
more
like, oh,
damage
you
being
want
on
you.
the team.
I don't think he will. I don't think that just like take any notice of that guy, man. Like he's out as he's got to leave next season or this season. He's gone soon anyway.
I just want to actually talk about one other topic here that's slightly Chelsea related. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, but Mount got injured like for 4 to 6 weeks. Like, did you see that, guys?
How have they fallen upwards?
Wait, Mount.
Bro, yeah, bro. And, but literally, I was like, bro, Tuchel and Lampard ran this guy into the ground, bro. I can't believe it. Yo,
Not Lampard, Tuchel, if anything as well.
I was just gonna
Okay.
say, like, I find
No,
it funny.
Lampard
I find
did,
it.
bro.
I find it really
yes,
funny
maybe.
that all of a sudden when he starts having really shit performances, he gets injured all the time.
You think he's faking? You think he's a faker?
Surely not, man. They can't be faking injuries like that. Surely not.
I don't know.
Honestly,
I'm
it
just
do
saying-
that.
I'm
It
just
probably
saying,
do
I'm just
them
saying
good
my
him being
observations,
off.
Chris. That's all I'm saying.
Honestly, they can't do any
I
worse. Like,
still understand how
like
they've
someone else
fallen
in
upwards,
midfield.
man. How the fuck have they fallen upwards, man? Just
Hey, man. You know,
Hey,
you
we should
win
be
some,
happy
you
because
jump
like
onto the
Salah
next
made
one,
some
man.
out for 60 million on a 1 year left is solid work of like the board and everything. Don't know how we managed it.
But yeah, please don't bring back Lukaku. please,
Fuck
Fabrizio,
Lukaku,
be right about your tweet and don't. I hope you're not wrong. And I really hope that I don't know what he's talking about. You're in chat, so but I really hope that at least Chelsea swallow the pride. If we can't find a solution, just take a loan. Just take a loan.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, just get him off the wage book at this point. Just to get him away from
Also,
the club.
thing
Maybe
with,
you can
like,
sell him next.
senior-
Who knows?
The thing with the senior loans thing, though, is like what other players have we got to potentially loan? Is the thing.
Wait, we've got 2 spots left. Yeah, we've got like 2
Senior.
spots.
We've got two senior spots left.
Senior, yeah, exactly.
Look
So Washington wouldn't count. Ugochukwu wouldn't count. Santos wouldn't count.
Maatsen wouldn't count.
I don't think Maatsen would count. I don't know about Maatsen.
Isn't Maatsen under? Isn't it under 21s don't count towards that?
I thought Maatsen was over 21.
Madsen's like 19, 20, right? He can't be 21.
Dutch? I didn't know that.
Oh, he's
21.
21.
Ian Matson is 21 years old.
Really?
Yeah. So he wouldn't count. Yeah, I don't see who else would. I mean, you just use it. Use it. I mean,
Yeah, use it.
Callum
Get rid of this.
could,
Fuck
depending
him.
on
Get
the whole
rid of this.
Callum situation.
I don't care about him. Get rid of this useless prick.
Hmm.
Oh, look.
What do you mean who? What have we just been talking about for the past 20 minutes?
He's
The
tough.
dude you fancy, bro. The dude that's in your DMs, man. That's who we're talking
Yeah,
about.
seriously.
I've got to head out though, guys. Yeah. Love.
Yeah, we'll see you later. We're wrapping up the show anyway. Thank you, Ahmed, for joining us today.
Always.
But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I really hope it's not true, and I hope we do get rid of Lukaku. Molina, are you looking for a striker? Okay, cool.
Yeah, there
Anyways.
might be. Gabriel's injured.
Maybe.
Just for Metal Doom's knowledge, it's just for this stream. I'm not doing a Mason Greenwood debate. That's all.
Yeah. No, we're not, and we've made it clear that we don't. No, hell no. For PR purposes, it's such a bad look for Chelsea. No.
Just for the stream, Metal Doom. I'm not, and I'm banned.
You're not forever banned.
Yeah.
Anyways, ladies and gents, we're gonna call it right here. Lukaku, get the fuck out of my club. But also, guys, be sure to smash up the like buttons. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. 69% of you are subscribed, but are not subscribed and watching. So go ahead and subscribe. It does help us out tremendously. Be sure to hit the bell notification for all the updates relating to when we're going to be streaming and all that such, and you don't miss the notification. Be sure to also check out the links in the description. Be sure to leave a comment. Let us know what you think. All the engagement does help us out with the YouTube channel and the growth. Also, shout out to my proper casuals and higher. That would be Winter Surfer, OG Turbo Jesus, Dark, Scott, the real one, and then also Adrian. Appreciate you guys for being longtime subscribers, being proper casuals, and as always, guys, we'll see you again Friday after the game. Hit the bell notification so you are notified when we do go live, because I haven't decided when we're going to go live exactly with that one. But be sure to check that out, and be sure to also, we're going to raid. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a raid message to use. We're going to raid Sarcasm City as usual. But yeah, show them some love. Subscribe, smash the like buttons when you get there, copy and paste the raid message. But ladies and gents, as always, thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch you soon. As always, have a good night and stay casual. Peace.